Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Love's RV Stop 250 at Talladega Superspeedway and our live commentary stream on this Saturday afternoon. Can't wait to bring you guys the action here today. It's going to be a fun one. We know Talladega to be a thrilling racetrack that always holds thrilling races in the NASCAR ranks. Today in our Truck Series race, it is the third to last race of the season. Yes, just 3 races to go. 2 more races until the Championship 4. One driver has already locked themselves into the Championship 4. We'll see if another playoff driver will do that today. Although the odds will be stacked against them, as we have not seen a playoff driver since 2017 when the playoffs were introduced to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win a race at Talladega while being a playoff contender. As far as the last 5 winners, they have only won 1 lap in the race. And in fact, Spencer Boyd, who won here just a couple years ago in the 20 truck, he didn't even lead a lap. He ended up winning because Johnny Sutter ended up having a failed inspection post-race, giving him the win when he initially thought he had taken second place. As far as today's race goes, it should be a good one. As mentioned, 94 laps, 250 miles will be the scheduled distance for the race. Here's the look at the starting lineup for today, as of course qualifying had taken place earlier this morning. Chase Purdy going to be on the pole in the Ford truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports. It was announced earlier this week that KBM will be sold out to Spire Motorsports at the start of next season. So just a few races to go for KBM, and they will be no longer in the Truck Series. Just got their 100th win earlier this season. Who would have thought the team would have sold at season's end? But Nick Sanchez is going to start outside of the front row, highest qualifying playoff driver as he's been for most of these early playoff races. Jake Garcia, another rookie up at the front of the field on the inside of row 2, and Dean Thompson to his outside. Ty Majeski and Jack Wood will be in row 3. Of course, Majeski looking for a spot in the Championship 4 with a win today. Carson Hocevar and Ben Rhodes, 2 playoff drivers, will line up in row number 4, and Corey Heim, Jake Drew will line up in row number 5. Heim, the winner at Bristol a couple of weeks ago, locked himself into the Championship 4, trying to get another win today, but he doesn't have to worry about what happens to him as he will be in the hunt for the championship still. David Gilliland is back in the Truck Series. He'll run a one-off race today, his first start of 2023, for his own team at Tricon Garage in the 1 truck, and Matt Crafton will start to his outside. Parker Kligerman back in the 75 as he won in that truck last year at Mid-Ohio. He is a multi-time Super Speedway winner in the Truck Series as well, looking to get another one here today. Raja Kurth will start on the outside of row 7 alongside Kligerman. Brett Holmes and Christian Eckes will line up in row number 8. Colby Howard and Zane Smith, the defending champion, in row 9. Looking for a bounce-back performance today after not a very good run in the first few races of the playoffs. As far as Tanner Gray and Stuart Friesen go, they'll be in row number 10. Row number 11, Lawless Allen and Tyler Ankrum. Haley Deegan and Taylor Gray lining up in row 12. Grant Enfinger starting deep in the field for GMS, who also will be shutting down operations at the end of the year. Greg Van Alst will be on the outside of him. He won the ARCA race at Daytona this season, so interesting to see what he does on a super speedway in his first time in a truck today. Bailey Curry and Chandler Smith will be behind them in row 14. Smith starting very deep in the field today. He will be driving the 25 Rackley Roofing race truck. Of course, Matt DiBenedetto qualified for the playoffs in that truck this year, but he was let go from the team last week. Daniel Dye and Brian Dozet will line up in row number 15. Brett Moffitt will be in the 34 truck this weekend on the inside of row 16. Garrett Smithley to his outside. Ryan Vargas and Tyler Hill will be in row number 17, and row 18 rounding out the field today will be Corey Roper and Jason M. White. That is your starting lineup. Here's the point standings coming into the race today. I mentioned already, Heim won at Bristol a couple weeks ago to lock himself into the Championship 4. 3 spots still available with 2 races to go in the round here today at Dega and in 2 weeks at Homestead. 29 points above the cutoff line is Christian Eckes as of right now, looking for another good run today, looking to stay out of trouble, but again, he's starting pretty deep in the field. Carson Hocevar, who scored a lot of stage points and a great finish at Bristol just a couple weeks ago, puts him 18 points above the cutoff line, and Grant Enfinger holds the final spot, 4th in the standings at plus 14 points. Zane Smith, the defending champion, moving to the Cup Series next season, trying to get a win in the Truck Series and go back-to-back in the title ranks, is 14 points below the cutoff line. He's the first driver below Enfinger. Ben Rhodes, another former champion, 19 points to the negative to start today's race. And then the rookie Nick Sanchez minus 22 points, and Ty Majeski minus 22 points as well. Of course, he has a playoff win, but that was last round at IRP. So that is the point standings coming into the race today. Appreciate everybody tuning in so far. Terry Lewis, thanks for joining. First down in the chat below. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal is 100 likes on today's stream, per usual. 2.66 mile racetrack, already mentioned, 250 miles and 94 laps is the scheduled distance for today's race. They will not have to worry about pitting for fuel at all in the first couple stages, as stages 1 and 2 will each be 20 laps. They will more than likely pit for fuel during the stage break at the end of stage 1 so they can make it to the end of stage 2, because I'm not sure that they could go both of the first 2 stages without pitting. But again, 20 laps of the first 2 stages, making the final stage 54 laps. The fuel window is 30 to 32 green flag laps for today. Gonna put a poll for who you think will win today's NASCAR truck race at Talladega. So let's throw in David Gilliland, as he is back. We'll put the I don't know who to put here. We'll put Parker Kligerman. I don't even know. I mean, this is like the biggest lottery race of the season, I feel, is the Truck Series when they're on a super speedway, especially at Daytona or Talladega, more so than Atlanta. And let's go. I mean, there's nobody in the field that's won this race before, so that's going to be interesting. See who comes out on top. Just put Chase Purdy on here because he's on the pole. I have a feeling most of you guys are probably going to end up taking other, but let's see anyway, because you never know. NASCAR Fan 05, thanks for tuning in. Poll is up in the chat. You guys have until the end of Stage 2 to vote there. Fifth first-time winner in a row for Dega in the Truck Series. This is true. And none of those 5 drivers are in this race. Checking pit road time, so they'll be getting the 1-to-go signal this time by. You can watch the race on Fox Sports 1 this afternoon. Tomorrow's Cup Series race. Our coverage will begin at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. And you can watch that race live on your local NBC affiliate. If you're wondering why the audio might be a little bit different compared to what we are used to with these live commentary streams, unfortunately, when I was streaming NASCAR Thunder 2004 earlier in the week, I had gotten up from my seat and accidentally knocked my mic over, this big Yeti mic right here. I knocked it over, and it is broken. It does not work anymore, unfortunately. So the audio has been a little fuzzy or at least different, maybe not fuzzy, just my voice might sound a little bit different compared to normal until I get a new mic. It's pretty expensive, and I think a new laptop is probably a little bit higher on the pecking order before a new mic, so we might just have to roll with this mic for the rest of the year, unfortunately. But hopefully you guys still enjoy today's coverage and the rest of the coverage that we'll have for NASCAR Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series races for the rest of the NASCAR season. Only 5 weekends to go following this week, and again, only 2 more Truck Series races after today as well, so not a lot of triple headers left this season with all 3 series. Of course, this is a truck weekend, but the Xfinity Series is out for the final time this year as well. So only 2 more weekends we'll have all 3 series racing, and we'll only have 5 more weekends of Xfinity and Cup action after this as well for our live commentary slate. With that being said, we need to get to 5,000 subscribers on the channel before the end of the season. We are cutting down to the wire. The goal at the beginning of the year was to get to 5,000 subs. We're getting closer. We're a little less than 300 away coming into the weekend, but we're running out of time. I mean, we still got a month and a half, which is a lot of time, but definitely, it seems like a lot of you guys that are subscribing keep coming back. I greatly appreciate that, but if you are new, definitely run that subscribe counter up, smash it. Don't actually smash it. I don't want you to break your cellular device or anything of that nature, but needless to say, definitely hit the subscribe button. Helps the channel. Hit the like button. Helps the streams out a ton. And we'll see how many people show up here over the next 24 hours or so for our live commentary slate of races. So they were checking pit road times, and then we ended up getting a commercial break. So maybe they weren't going to get the one to go signal that time by, but I was imagining that they would have. Clear weather for today's race. Rain will not be an issue. Pace truck is now pulling to pit road as they are back from the commercial break, and we are getting ready to go green for the first time today at the Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to be a wild weekend of races, playoff races, a lot on the line for a lot of drivers over the next 2 days. Can make or break a championship run in the final few races of the season. The green flag is in the air. Race 21 of 23 is underway for the Craftsman Truck Series. Chase Purdy quickly pulling to the bottom of the racetrack. Had a great push from behind on the outside by Dean Thompson, who is now going to pull alongside Purdy in the middle of 1 and 2, but he doesn't have a lot of push from behind him, and Chase Purdy will be clear in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Already a third line forming right around the fourth row or so. Matt Crafton moving to the outside lane, has not won a race this season. Three-time champion, was eliminated from the playoffs a few weeks ago, entering the round of 8, and now just trying to get a win before the season is up. His teammate Ben Rhodes going to pull up in front of him. No, that is Ben Rhodes. In the 99, couple Thor Sport trucks working together. Dean Thompson, who is on the outside of the front row, already in the sucker hole and has fallen outside of the top 10, continues to lead the middle lane with not a lot of trucks there. Another truck pulling to the outside, 3 wide to split the Thor Sport trucks. That'd be Raja Karuth in the 24, being pushed by the 19 of Christian Eckes. Lap 1 in the books at Talladega. Chase Purdy is your race leader.
Christian Eckes right behind him. Historically, Phil, the third line, the outside lane can't do much with that bottom line here at Talladega. But that could all change. You never know, slightest tweak to the trucks, the way they're running, the weather, all that can affect exactly where these trucks run. Right along in this Love's RV stop on board for Zane Smith, lined up behind Christian Eckes. Brett Holmes, the 32 truck over on the inside.
And these truckers had 0 practice today. They woke up and hit the track for qualifying. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. Now they've got a little bit of cloud cover here and there.
Big jump, I said, for the 51 of Jack Wood. You can't pass. From the start finish line, move to the outside. NASCAR looked at the video and determined that he was up beside the truck that was leading Purdy. They brought him to pit road.
You basically have to be in line until you get to start finish line. Then anything happens after that's okay.
It's a pass-through penalty for the 51 of Jack Wood, who had a good start. Great qualifying effort for him. But his teammate, Chase Purdy, continues to lead here.
There goes that third line. You see it again, forming up there.
Chandler Smith, the 25 truck, is leading that line right now.
Lucky Love Chandler's couldn't stand it. He said, I gotta run, let's go. And that's when you make that move, and then you hope your buddies, like I said earlier, come with you. It doesn't look like it's gonna work. I look for this bottom line to prevail most of the early parts of this event.
Okay, Raja Karuth is doing a nice job leading that second line. Now Chase Purdy is going to jump up in front of that second line of Raja Karuth.
Getting that to get the push, right back to the bottom he goes. That's how you block off that upper line. You take their run away, get that energy, and put your truck on the bottom in front of that line.
At this point, how much is Chase Purdy driving in his rearview mirror, Michael?
At least half the time, maybe even 75%. You're constantly looking forward and back. So you know right now what you need to do. You're going to go straight down that yellow line. And look, there's a run on the outside. He's monitoring that. Look at his foot. You said it, Phil. He's right here in this lead pack, but he's got to manage his throttle and the brake. That's great TV, guys. Just showing what all goes on behind the wheel. And these are his feet we're talking about, not even his hands.
He pumped the brake right there a little bit. He's just trying to manage that gap to the truck in front of him.
That outside line, you see, they lost all energy, fell back, fell apart. Now they're forming up. 2 nice lines here as Chase Purdy continues to lead the inside.
You see the telemetry over the lower left side of your screen. You can see the brake pedal and the throttle, and both of those things will be moving back and forth.
Look at Christian Eckes giving a big push to Raja. That outside lane is able to hang right there. Isn't that great? Watching his feet, showing that he uses the brake, the gas. He's all over both pedals, making sure that he's exactly where he wants to be.
Wasn't that Chase Purdy that he just went by? The guy that just let it relax laps so far?
That's right. Chase Purdy had led all 4 laps and only led 4 laps in his career before today. Now he slipped back. He's third truck in line in the middle lane now.
Look at Ty Majeski. We talked about our playoff racers that have to get up here and make a statement in stage 1. Majeski's doing just that.
Well, for the second time today, the 88 and that.
All playoff drivers on that inside lane right now. Nick Sanchez leading the way as he has just now led his first lap of the race. Behind him are Ty Majeski and Carson Hocevar. A couple of the Thorsport trucks have Ben Rhodes and Matt Craftsman falling back as Majeski continues to stay up at the front of the field right now. He's the only Thorsport truck of the 4 in this race today that are still up in contention. The 51 headed to pit road, going to serve a penalty, as you heard there on the Fox broadcast, that Jack Wood had jumped the start, so he is now going to be taking the penalty on pit road, a pass-through penalty. And he's going to be obviously off the pace of this lead pack, so going to need to get to the end of stage 1, hoping he stays on the lead lap to get back in contention. Only 2 seconds separating the top 31 trucks in the field. A lot of 3-wide racing through the first 7 laps of today's race at Talladega for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, although the first 5 or 6 trucks are now single file down on the bottom lane near the double yellow line. Can't pass below it. Got a slow truck on the outside that the field is coming up on now. Going to have to form underneath them as they're squeezing 4 wide, middle of the back straightaway. Not sure who that is, but they are well off the pace. Jake Garcia has already pulled off the racetrack as well, unfortunately, and that was Jason White. It looked like that was fallen back and has gone a lap down. So Jason White falling a lap down to the 22 truck. Brian Dozet was already a lap down just before that, and Jake Garcia on the opening lap of the race had pulled the pit road actually into the garage area and has yet to return back onto the track. Tough break after qualifying 3rd earlier today for Garcia. There was no practice time for the Truck or Cup Series this weekend, qualifying only. So maybe has something that maybe could have been fixed with a practice session. Unfortunately, the lack of laps on the racetrack, they were not able to get going. Rajah Caruth went to swing to the outside of the truck he was riding in line in front of him, Parker Kligerman. Kligerman moves back down to the middle groove, which is the outside lane for now as they're back to 2x2 in the top 10. And Caruth stays up wide, gets hung out to dry, and goes from potentially leading this race now all the way to the back of this lead pack. Sanchez going to lead another lap back at the line. Caruth will get back into the outside groove again further back behind the field. May have to jump back down to the bottom potentially as well. Only about 7 or 8 cars in the outside groove up in this lead pack, but they're making headway with Parker Kligerman in the Tide ride up on the outside. Getting a great push for pole sitter Chase Purdy, who we know has a lot of single truck speed with qualifying on the pole earlier this morning. Kligerman is pulled to the outside of the 4th truck in line on the bottom. That is Corey Heim and the 11 truck that is down there. 4 playoff drivers on the bottom now leading the way, and a bunch of non-playoff drivers on the outside trying to pick up the ground late in stage 1. They'll head to the commercial break for the first time today on FS1, so we'll go through the full field running order for the first time on lap number 9. Nick Sanchez with the race lead by a 1/10 of a second over Ty Majeski in P2. Carson Hocevar runs in 3rd currently with Corey Heim in 4th. David Gilliland in 5th. Brett Holmes 6th. Parker Kligerman 7th. Colby Howard 8th. Chase Purdy 9th. Tanner Gray in 10th. Jake Drew in 11th. Taylor Gray in 12th. Dean Thompson 13th. Grant Enfinger 14th. 15th place is Christian Eckes. Lawless Allen 16th. Zane Smith 17th. Bailey Curry 18th. Stuart Friesen 19th. Tyler Ingram is 20th. Daniel Dye in 21st. Corey Roper 22nd. Ben Rhodes 23rd. Chandler Smith 24th. Brett Moffitt 25th. Matt Crafton 26th. Rajah Caruth 27th. Haley Deegan 28th. 29th is Ryan Vargas. And Tyler Hill is 30th. And 31st is the O2 truck of Garrett Smithley. 32nd is Greg Van Alst. Jack Wood. 33rd is the only truck not on the lead pack that is on the lead lap as he had to take that pass-through penalty. Jason White has pulled off the track now as he's 4 laps down in 34th. Brian Dozet is also pulled off the racetrack in 35th. And Jake Garcia is still off track in last in 36th. So, again, 10 laps complete today. We'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC for this NASCAR YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we'll continue the Stage 1 coverage on the other side of our break. Still caution-free through the first 10 laps of this one as well. Despite a little bit of an aggressive battle up at the front of the field, when we do see trucks close enough, the side drafting maybe could be a little bit more aggressive, but the bump drafting has been very relevant in the early go into this race. On the Truck Series, you can't lock bumpers for a long period of time. You will get penalized for that. You can only do that in the Cup Series. Main reason is because there are a lot younger drivers in the field, not as experienced, so don't want there to be more likely possibility of wrecks taking place. So NASCAR frowns upon any bump drafting going on in the truck in the Xfinity Series for that reason. Sanchez still leading the way right now. Over Ty Majeski in second. 1/10 of a second back. 2/10 of a second back is Carson Hocevar in third. Corey Hyman 4 3/10 of a second back, as well as Parker Kligerman in fifth, who may still be leading the outside lane, as he is also 3/10 of a second off the lead as of the start-finish line that last time by. 10 minutes into this race at the Talladega Super Speedway. Coming up on 8 to go in stage 1.
Nothing has changed since we stepped aside. Nick Sanchez continues to lead Ty Majeski and Carson Hocevar. But you see on the outside, Parker Kligerman with a nice run.
Really tight pack racing here going on. I want to remind the folks at home, you can't lock bumpers in the trucks. You can bump and you can push, but you lock them up, NASCAR will bring you to pit road. So keep your eye on that situation. These drivers know how to manage it. Sometimes it's just too tempting not to hang on that back bumper just a little bit longer. NASCAR won't like that.
Jamie, Michael pointed out the last lap before this, the fastest truck on the racetrack was Greg Van Alst. He's running 32nd. He was the fastest truck on the racetrack.
That means he has 31 trucks in front of him to help that truck pull through the air and make that lap time. 32nd position, fastest truck on the track.
And you see 8 laps to go in stage number 1. Stages today, 20 laps, 40 laps, and that'll get us to 94 laps. Will be 250 miles around this enormous oval track.
Massive track, and you see that fast number 4 truck of Chase Purdy. He's got to the back of Parker Kligerman, and they're slowly making progress on the outside up toward Nick Sanchez leading this race.
It might take a couple laps to get a truck length, but they've done that now. You see, Parker Kligerman now is going to try to pull up beside of Nick Sanchez with a good push from Chase Purdy.
I think the key to Kligerman is Purdy. We know how fast it was. Pole truck, he can get on the back of that truck and get him up there and challenge for the lead.
Let's get an update on our leader, Josh.
Yeah, guys, important to notice that Nick Sanchez does not have a lot of experience at these super speedways, but crew chief Danny Stockman said he did really good in the draft in Atlanta. He was really good at Daytona, maybe didn't have the finishes that he wanted, but right now they said be patient, you're doing very well, and your moneymaker right now is the quarter entry, so a good start to the race for the two.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Nick Sanchez just continues to impress.
And yeah, look, we're getting ready to lap a truck here, and sometimes this gets a little tight. You got to swing up wide. You're going to be 3 wide at some point. This opens up opportunity for other drivers. This sometimes can cause an issue as you pass by.
And that's Jack Wood. He had that penalty for jumping the initial start as they make their way around him. A lot of spotter communication right here.
Here's what I'm talking about. You can see it's already getting jumbled up a bit. Jack's fast enough to hang there, too. He's not just going to drop to the back of this line. Whoa, Brett Holmes pulled right down on the back of that orange truck.
See the one of David Gilliland try to side draft down that 51. Brett Holmes bumping the 51 of Jack Wood. You see him get a little bit out of shape. Jack's in good shape right now, going right along with Zane Smith. Nobody else in danger of going a lap down, so if we can run this stage out, Jack will get that free pass.
Saw Jake Drew in the 61 get shuffled back. He lost his spot. He's falling back. He qualified top 10. Was running top 10 until just that moment now, trying to start that outside lane. Regan, what are they saying in Parker Kligerman's pit?
Well, Jamie, it's been a great start to the race for Parker so far. Always so good on these drafting racetracks. Of course, 2 wins here at Talladega. Looking for his 3rd one today. It would make you think they would bring the same truck every time, right? Not this time. They built a brand new truck for today with help of Kyle Busch Motorsports on this truck. It is very fast right now. That felt like the truck they had before was not good enough to do what he's doing right now. Lead the pack and be the aggressive guy. You felt like you always had to be the guy pushing the board. That's not the case right now. Looking great in the 75.
That's impressive. You don't talk to many crew chiefs that will tell you we're going to build a brand new racetrack to go to a super speedway track.
Get down to it now on lap 17, 4 laps to go on this stage. There are a lot of our playoff drivers right now outside that top 10 in the point-paying positions.
If you're looking at the pylon, you see those drivers in that goldish yellow color. Those are the playoff drivers. Except for Hine, he's in green. That means he has punched his ticket to the championship race in Phoenix, so he doesn't have much to worry about.
They're just so close. He was almost there into 3, but taking that wider arc around the outside put him in a bind and fell back off the leader.
It's Jake Garcia who'd gone behind the wall at the start of the race having issues. Looks like they figured out their problem, trying to make his way back out and join the race. What's Ty Majeski saying?
Eventually that thing's going to go off the top. We're going to have out the regular side. So still working.
You know, the spotters, they just want you to be aware of everything. They want you to understand what might happen. Even if that doesn't happen, that's what Majeski has to look out for. Because the spotter has a global view. He can see more clearly what all's going on. And he thinks that outside line is going to run. And the two will go up and block.
And those spotters are the same voices that you'll hear tomorrow during the Cup race. That was Brandon Lyons, who was William Byron's spotter, spotting for Ty Majeski right here today.
Watch Chase Purdy just behind the 75 of Parker Kligerman.
Whoa, you got to be steady when you're trying to bump in that back end. You hit it wrong, it'll turn that truck ahead of you right around.
I'm not sure the one of David Gillen was in the back of the Ford Chase Purdy prior to that. Kligerman doing a nice job there. Dead even down the backstretch. Look at that bump from Gillen, the bump Chase Purdy up to Kligerman. That might help Kligerman get by that too.
Well, the same thing was happening on the bottom. Phil Carson Hocevar in the back of Majeski, and that propelled that line forward.
How about David Gilliland, co-owner of the race team, 47 years old, says, you know what, I'm going to come out and jump in the truck for the second time this year, run it up front here, trying to make moves. Third truck in line on the outside.
At the start-finish line, 1 lap to go in Stage 1, and it will be led by Nick Sanchez in the 2, but not by much over Parker Kligerman in the 75, who has gotten to the outside for the race lead into Turn 1 as a drag race on their way through the corner. Nobody is pulled out to go 3 wide at all, at least in the front portion of the field. 4 trucks still on the outside lane simultaneously, nose to tail. Couple more with a run after hanging back off the exit of the corner. Moving to the outside, it's Grant Enfinger who needs some stage points, being one of the playoff drivers. He's got another playoff driver of Christian Eckes going with him. They're making a little bit of headway, but they're losing numbers now into Turn 3. A 2-truck tandem at the front of the field on the bottom has now shoved their way past Parker Kligerman and Chase Purdy. That is now Ty Majeski and Nick Sanchez. Majeski holding back to get a run. Off of Turn 4, he's drafted up to the 2. Another truck way to the outside of Purdy to make a move. Into the tri-oval, Sanchez blocking the 98 up the racetrack. He's going to cut back down to the bottom in front of Hocevar, who will get by for second, but can't get by Sanchez for the win. And Nick Sanchez is going to win Stage 1 at Talladega. Carson Hocevar second, Corey Heim third, Ty Majeski fourth, and Brett Holmes rounds out the top 5 in Stage 1. Colby Howard sixth, Parker Kligerman seventh, Tanner Gray eighth, David Gillen ninth, and Dean Thompson will round out the top 10. A caution-free first stage at Talladega Superspeedway for the Love's RV Stop 250 and our third to last Truck Series race of the NASCAR season in 2023. We'll continue our live commentary coverage on the other side. You're listening live. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you have not done so yet. Couple other shout-outs. CJ Edwards, Kathleen Schwartz, Mark Witkowski, William Ayers Reacts, Irina Sayre, Steve Reed, Mark Witkowski, and others, thanks for tuning in. Zachary Wall, thanks for the $4.99 super chat as well. Simply just saying thank you. Well, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for tuning back in, for another live commentary stream. Jeff Sperry, Robert Goodrich, also welcome into the stream. Hopeful, thanks for tuning in. Rebecca Chatlos, Delbert Wilson. Welcome, everybody. A little less than 100 people watching already. TRG Tornado, also welcome to the stream. Have 20 more laps to vote for who you think will win today's race at Talladega. I know the poll is pretty one-sided, which I kind of figured that it would be, considering we're at a super speedway, especially in the truck series. It seems more so than the other couple series in NASCAR, more of a lottery. But who you think will win today's truck race at Talladega. 67% of the 43 votes that have been casted so far think somebody other than Chase Purdy, Parker Kligerman, or David Gilliland will win. Gilliland ninth at the end of stage one. Kligerman was up there in the top 5, and Chase Purdy was for a while until he pulled out, made a move in the trial, but nobody went with him. He fell outside of the top 10. He started on the pole today and led a handful of laps in that first stage. Goal is 100 likes on the stream as well. 17 laps were led in stage one by Nick Sanchez. 4 laps at the start of the race so far led by Chase Purdy. Just that one lead change. A couple times Kligerman, got alongside Sanchez, but never actually led a lap at the line before, of course, falling back to 5th there in the final straightaway of the stage. We'll see our first pit stops when they come back from the commercial break. A lot of fuel-only stops, I'm sure, will happen here. Trying to maintain track position. Maybe some teams take 4 tires to try to get that little bit of extra grip, but tires not really of an utmost importance at Talladega or Daytona for that matter. I'd say more so at Atlanta with that hybrid superspeedway in the 1.5 miles compared to the purpose-built superspeedways, of course, that we are typically used to seeing on the NASCAR schedule.
What worries me the most? Definitely Talladega. Gotta probably go with Talladega.
I hate to say it because it's my home track and I love that place, but it's Talladega.
Talladega in the playoffs is always insane.
Talladega. I mean, that's a crapshoot. Bristol? Yeah. Just always in battle. And I know they gave a sword away for a reason.
I'd probably say the starting one at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Obviously, that's the one that I want to go run the best at because we ran the worst at it last year, and probably the one that concerns me the most.
What? Bristol?
I don't think these guys have watched all these races at Talladega. Ben Rhodes has been in about all those races at Talladega. I don't know how he can not say Talladega.
Because he likes this place. I'm telling you, he loves this place, so maybe it's not as scary to him.
Well, I do too, but it would certainly cause some sleepless nights if I was a playoff contender.
Think back, Phil, when we were drivers back in the day, if you will.
That's 10 years or older.
As this track, despite its reputation, you couldn't wait to get there and challenge it and show everybody that you were going to be the man on the biggest track in NASCAR.
How about this? Stage 1 results. Those very much needed 10 points for Nick Sanchez, who came into this race below the cut line. So 22 points back. He's got to get all he can.
Yeah, he did it too. Only 4 of our 8 playoff drivers got points. And you see them finishing 1st through 4th in this stage.
What about Holmes and Howard?
Yeah.
5th and 6th in this first stage. They're showing that they might have what it takes to win at Talladega.
Look at Dean Thompson back there at 10th. He had to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. Made his way all the way up into the top 10.
And David Gilliland, 47-year-old.
A very spry 47-year-old.
Yes, he is.
Let's end this age thing already.
I just love it because he runs the team. All these youngsters around him that he can get in the truck too and put it down, show him how it's done.
We're going to have pit stops here.
I'm thinking, like you mentioned, 2 tires here.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of crew chiefs, and they feel like 2 here and 4 at the second break.
Yeah.
Maybe none or 2 on that green flag stop.
Talking to some of the crew chiefs, they had some tire wear at this race last year. Same tires last year, too, so they're a little bit worried about that. Obviously, not much rubber on the racetrack prior to the start of this one.
See the drivers making their way down pit road. Regan, they're coming your way.
Jamie, it's been a perfect start to this Talladega race for Carson Mosapart. Scoring those stage points, that was one of their primary goals in this first stage. That, along with not getting in any trouble. The truck right now, absolutely perfect. It'll be 2 tires for him. Evans, we got Zane Smith turn side, or the 38 turn sideways up the road there. The 11 and quarter behind, just a little bit loose with that truck. Needs a small adjustment to that unit otherwise, Josh.
Well, the team told Nick Sanchez that was a textbook stage as he got much needed stage points with the way he came in for fuel only. Said, I love the way this truck is getting over right now, guys.
There's a lot going on. As you see, there is a tire rolling down pit road. There was another tire that got away. Zane Smith was backwards, but I couldn't tell if he was in the wrong box and had to back it up.
He got damaged. That truck is damaged on the right rear. The team will have to attend to that.
I think that damage is from either his tire carrier or a tire, probably a tire. Not sure if maybe they got tapped as he was coming in the pits.
He can still win this race. I think that's minor damage. They'll regroup. Maybe it changes their strategy, but still going to have a chance to win the race.
And who does does that belong to is the question. Let's see what happened here.
That's going to be Zane's, I think. No, he just got a little bit too high.
Oh!
No, that's where the damage came from. What about that crew member? That's violent. Oh. Wow. Just too much rear brake right now. Feels exactly.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of damage to that right rear corner panel.
And look at him.
He just
Casually, and he picks up his wrench.
kept on going about his work. That is incredible. He was able to brace himself a bit and take the best angle into the truck that he thought he could do. That's athleticism. I'm so glad these guys are athletes now. But that is a hard hit right there.
You could hear it on the onboard. Goodness, I hope that he's okay. That explains where both tires came from.
There's that warrior. Yeah, man, oh man.
Look at him, just continues to dig. And for a
Keep doing his job. Keep doing his job.
For a driver, though, that's got to just weigh on you. Like, you want to know if your guy's okay. Let's listen on board here. Oh.
Oh, that was so scary. You can see Zane looking in the mirror. Zane knew that happened. Amazing.
Thank goodness they're athletes, like you said, Michael. He's up and Adam looks like he's going to continue the day. Stay with us. More from Talladega.
Dangerous situation there on pit road for Zane Smith as his front tire carrier had gotten hit by the right rear corner panel of Smith's race truck as he had locked the rear tires up. Wheel hopped it coming into his box, slid sideways, and slid right into the crew member, knocking a couple of the tires down pit road. Luckily, he was able to stay up on his feet, but that definitely could have been a much worse situation there. Glad that he at least seems to be okay, and it seems as if also he will be continuing on. If we get any other further word on him, maybe just retiring for the day, we will bring that news to you. Thanks for everybody tuning in thus far through today's live commentary stream. We'll keep our coverage rolling here and get the start of Stage 2 going here very shortly, following the mid-stage break commercial break. But definitely did quite a bit of damage to the right rear corner panel of Smith's truck. Kind of right up, I'd say about a third of the way to the backside of the right rear tire is where that damage took place on the actual fender of the race truck. Damage, obviously, from hitting the crew member, and then the tire he was carrying, too, I think kind of dented that corner panel in just a little bit. From a speed standpoint, I don't think it's going to affect Zane Smith too much as long as he stays in the draft. They try to buff that out as best as they can before, of course, beginning this next stage, but he is definitely going to be at the back of the pack now and have to work his way forward, and Stage 2 will be much shorter. Each 20 laps in length are the first two stages, but by the time we get back to green flag racing here, he's probably only going to have somewhere in the ballpark of 14, 15, or 16 laps to go in the stage to try to get himself forward. Not impossible, though. Dean Thompson started at the rear of the field today, qualified in the fourth place position, but had to drop to the rear off the start, was still able to get it to the top 10 before that first stage was up. So I would not doubt that Zane Smith could hopefully do the same, even with a little bit of damage to the race truck. Nick Sanchez ended up winning the race off of pit road. He won Stage 1, so it was a big 10 stage points for this round. Came into this race below the cutoff line by 22 points, and that will help him try to boost that up just a little bit. They qualified up towards the front of the field, got to the lead early, about 5 laps in, and held on to it all the way to the end of the stage. Maybe one of the drivers to beat for today's race. And my pick for the race today, I was going with Parker Kligerman, to be completely honest. He has won at Talladega before in the Truck Series. He actually has 2 wins in super speedways in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He won with this team at Mid-Ohio last year, showing his road course prowess off, but looking for his second win in the second straight season on a part-time schedule in this series.
Now let's take a look back again at what happened.
Zane turns to go in his pit, and you can see the black marks. The tires locked up in the back, and that was just incredible that athlete was able to maintain control of his body to put it into the side of that truck in a way that he could walk away.
And that is Charles Plank. He's the tire carrier. And I'm hearing, Josh, you got him?
You're down here with Charles Plank, and he's watching the replay there. What was going through your mind when that was happening on pit road? I thought I could clear it, and I did it, but it looks like I almost cleared it jumping over. I'm glad I made it on the deck lid instead of getting underneath it, so we're ready. We're ready for the next stop. And how are you feeling? You good to go? I'm great to go. There you go. He's a tough guy, guys.
That makes me so happy. And you know, I said he had control of the tires. He attempted to jump over the truck. That's how present he was in the moment, what he needed to do not to hurt himself.
Carrying 2 tires, by the way, when he got hit. Beast mode. I think the only thing that was wrong with him, he had a fat lip.
Well, it's incredible that we say it all the time, the athleticism that these pit crew guys have. That's just a great example of it. Not only that, it looked like he's kind of halfway tickled by it. Now we're ready to go for the next one. That's awesome. Thought he could jump. All right. So.
I put myself to 3 or 4, and it was normal. And I went pretty much right around here. I went to it, and it was just soft. Like, it's still engaged. It was just super soft. And I just thought, okay, we're recovering.
Here's Zane. Worried about his crew member. They told him he's all good, he's fine, and then he explained what happened.
And you saw the issue on pit road there, but what about Bristol? When Zane came to pit road, hit it outside of his box, cost him a good finish at Bristol. So a couple of mental errors here for Zane. Mental, I say that here at Bristol, just hitting in the wrong spot. Today, a mechanical problem. The reason probably why I feel his brake pedal was soft, we saw Carson Hocevar all over his brakes, on and off, on and off. That can lead to that happening, get too much heat in those brakes.
So Zane Smith back in the 33rd spot right now as we get ready to go green once again. Let's get an update, though, on Corey Hyde. Regan.
Well, Jamie, you guys talked about it earlier on in the race about tire wear and what we could expect today. The first truck that I went to check out tire wear, Corey Hyde, the right rear that came off of that truck, you see right there, some cords showing up just a little bit right now. Check with Scott Civinelli, crew chief. He said, I'm not concerned about that right now. The track hasn't had anybody on it yet. It should get better as we go, but something to keep an eye on.
And a couple of our leaders, Regan, didn't get tires, so this could develop into a situation. We'll have to watch that closely.
13 laps to go in Stage 2 already. Pretty lengthy stage caution of 7 laps on a 2.66-mile racetrack, but nonetheless, we are back to racing as the green flag is back in the air. Nick Sanchez got a great push from behind on the bottom lane by Ty Majeski. Both trucks will pull clear of Parker Kligerman on the outside. In fact, Kligerman may potentially pull to the bottom. He's got a chance to, and he does. And the truck right behind him in line also goes to the bottom, that being David Gilliland in the 1. Christian Eckes, I believe, is the first truck on the outside. No, Brett Holmes in the 32 is the first truck on the outside until Carson Hocevar moves up with a little bit of help from behind from Christian Eckes as both trucks are able to clear the 32. Hocevar, as he pulls into the second groove, has 2 trucks of Gilliland and Kligerman going back to the outside again. Eckes was not able to get back down to the bottom as quickly as what the 42 of Hocevar in front of him was able to do. Great push there from Gilliland to the back of Parker Kligerman into the tri-oval. Kligerman going to lead his first lap of the race today. Is he going to be able to clear? Now, one has been pushing him for a very long time. All over that back bumper. I wonder if he may get penalized for that. Zane Smith just trying to get up to speed right now as the field rumbles through turns 1 and 2. Smith on the apron off of turn 2 right now, trying to get up to speed on the backstretch. Obviously no drafting help, so he will lose a lap here. Hopefully he can get the free pass to begin Stage 2, though. Kligerman down to the bottom lane of the racetrack, as well as Gilliland at the front of the field, 3 wide from third on back. Getting dicey already in the middle going of Stage 2. The 2 truck of Sanchez is clear for third. Pulls in line right behind the 1. 3 trucks nose to tail now, pushing each other simultaneously into the tri-oval. The 2 backs up a little bit. The 1 has still been all over Parker Kligerman so far. No word of any penalty, though, for David Gillen for pump drafting too long. Hocevar now has a push from Christian Eckes in the 19 as he tries to get going on the outside, and Hocevar is going to try to take the lead through turns 1 and 2. Kligerman not trying to move up off that double yellow line, stayed with the one of Gillen who pushed him up to the front of the field. Gillen will push again down the back stretch as Eckes falling further back in the field. Brett Holmes is still in that second lane right behind Carson Hocevar. Chase Purdy working himself forward, as well as Raja Kruth, who was up in contention in the very early laps of the race before getting hung out to dry, falling to the back of the pack. As the third lane forms, it is Purdy and Kruth that are starting to lead the way up there. They're up to about the 5th truck in line underneath them. There's only about 4 or 5 trucks in that third groove, but they are making a little bit of headway through the front of the field. Kligerman is all clear for the race lead in turns 1 and 2, still choosing to stay on the bottom with Gillen. We'll see if Hocevar gets another great push down the back stretch from the 32 again. Holmes, a former ARCA winner on a super speedway, trying to get a truck win here today, and there is that run from Hocevar as predicted. Into turn 3. Seems like when they get into the corners, not being able to take the shortest way around the racetrack, and they start to lose a little bit of time. We haven't seen too much aggressive side drafting from trucks in the outside lane versus the trucks on the bottom so far. So although the bump drafting has been very apparent and very aggressive, the actual side drafting we haven't really seen much of. Nobody willing to take that kind of a risk still this early in the race, as we're only about a third of the way home. Zane Smith back on pit road again and actually pulling into the garage, so looks to be more damage to that 38 truck than originally expected. So big playoff implications here for Smith, who came into the day 14 points below the cutoff line, is now in the garage early on in the 33rd place position and multiple laps down, and will likely put himself in a must-win situation heading into Homestead for the final race of the round of 8 in 3 weeks, excuse me. 2 weeks off before they go to Homestead for the Truck Series in the middle of October. Hocevar to the lead at the front of the field. And he will lead his first lap at the start-finish line, as he was able to move to the bottom off of turn 4 on Kligerman. And as soon as he did that, I believe David Gillen and Parker Kligerman still stayed in line right behind him. Brett Holmes started to fall back. Nick Sanchez now leads the outside group. We know he's got a fast truck. Holmes is going to have to push another truck to the front of the field and see if he can maybe get to the bottom the next time through. His partner hung him out to dry that last lap. Kligerman just going to be pushing Carson Hocevar now. Holmes looking to do it all over again. 8 laps to go in Stage 2. Full screen commercial break on Fox Sports 1. Your top 10 holds Carson Hocevar in the lead by 1/10 of a second over Parker Kligerman in second. David Gillen 2/10 of a second back in third. Time adjusting 4, 3/10 of a second off the lead. Nick Sanchez is 3/10 of a second back in fifth. Ben Rhodes, 4/10 of a second back at 6th. Brett Holmes in 7th place, 4/10 of a second back. Half a second off the lead is Tanner Gray. 6/10 of a second off the lead is Brett Holmes. Gray in 8th, Holmes 9th. Corey Heim is in 10th, 6/10 of a second back off the lead as well. In fact, the entire top 19 trucks in the field, 1 second off the race lead. 1.7 seconds is the difference between first and 24th, and then there's a little bit of a gap back where 25th on back is that last time, as the drivers just trying to stay out of harm's way in case we get the big one here in Stage 2. No playoff drivers in that group, so they have no points to really race for here as far as championship implications go, so might as well hang back for a little bit longer as we run right now, just out of safety precaution. To win the race, you first must finish the race, and that's the strategy that we see time and time again here at Daytona and Talladega in any series, that there are those group of drivers that do kind of hang around at the back for a while. Then we get down to crunch time, final 20, 30, 40 laps of the race, they try to get forward when it matters the most. There will be an expected pit stop to be had in the final stage, with it being 54 laps in length. Again, the fuel window is 30 to 32 laps. We will see drivers hit pit road during the stage break itself. We haven't had an incidental caution up to this point through the first 34 laps, as we have now 7 to go in Stage 2. It's going to be very interesting to see if these drivers are going to be able to make it all the way to the end of the stage. Kligerman was only 15 one-thousandths of a second off the lead at the start-finish line that last time by, so that tells me he made a move to the outside and is going for the lead on Carson Hocevar during this commercial break. And Ty Majeski may have went with him because he was only about 63 one-thousandths of a second off the lead. Shows how tight that battle is up at the front of the field, how fast these trucks are going. Average speed of the second truck in, or actually, we'll go to the fifth truck in line who had the fastest lap was Ben Rhodes, 189.496 miles per hour. That last time by, Hocevar continues to lead. Kligerman now still in the outside groove. On the bottom lane, though, is Ty Majeski still hanging out behind Kligerman. And Nick Sanchez is in line behind the 75, coming up on 4 laps to go in stage 2 at the start-finish line this time by as they enter the tri-oval.
Chevy for Eckes. I think he's run about 5 more miles than anybody, Bill.
He's been in the third line on every lap of this race. Raja doing a nice job giving him a push, and then Raja's teammate Grant Enfinger right behind him. They need to make something happen. Grant really desperately wanted to get some stage points. Got shut out in stage 1, looking to get some here.
Mark Kligerman trying to pull that middle up. Nick Sanchez right behind him is... Whoa. Is that Jake?
I think that's a 35 Jake. Just getting out of the way. Obviously 17 laps down. Apparently have their clutch issues fixed. Looking broken up front now.
Yeah, there's some trucks that are saying, I can't get anything anyway. I'm going to fall back. So you see the back of the pack's breaking down a little bit.
Let's listen to Carson Hocevar. That's Tyler Green, the spotter, doing a lot of talking today, and that's for Carson Hocevar, who now just slipped into third as Parker Kligerman once again leads. Nick Sanchez won the first stage. Wants to get another shot at taking stage number 2.
Wow. I can't believe this precision driving has been able to be successful. These guys just so close to one another, but not a mistake yet.
Eckes is continuing to lead. Now it's Brett Holmes in that blue number 32 leading that outside line now.
Do I dare say it? It's been...
Oh, trouble.
I almost did. I didn't even say it. Caution is out for the second time today. Is that Friesen?
It is
Friesen with a big hit for him. David Gilliland as well goes around.
David dropped to the back, dropped out of that lead pack.
Tyler Ingram involved.
Tried to find some safety and unfortunately came along. That's what I always wonder when you drop back. If you want to drop back out of the pack, there's just 2 laps to go. Get way back. Get way back. Get way back in case something happens. You have some time to maneuver.
That comes on the final lap of stage number 2. Just about to say these guys have been racing hard, and we only had 1 caution up to that point. That was for the stage break.
See the damage on the Gilliland truck there in the right rear quarter panel. Stuart Friesen's truck obviously damaged way too much to continue.
There's Tyler Ingram to pit road for some damage repair. Didn't look like Gilliland or Ingram truck were damaged enough to where they can still be competitive.
Unfortunate for Stuart Friesen, brought a brand new sponsor this weekend, and Gear Wrench. Truck looked really nice. Different look for him. And now severe damage as they work to get him out of his truck. He is out. It's hard to see, but he's sitting on the ground there. Stuart Friesen out of the truck.
Looks like the AMR safety team is attending to Stuart.
Yeah, when he got out of the truck, he Looked like he lost his breath a bit or something. Bent over. This is hoping that we can get this truck repaired, because no telling what's going to happen in this final stage. And if Zane can stay out of trouble, there's still a lot of racing left.
So they continue working back in the garage for Zane Smith.
Parker Clickerman coming to get the checker flag.
End of stage number 2. Green white checker comes out.
Great stage points for Sanchez, Hocevar, Majeski, Rhodes. Corey Haim's going to get the 1 point for 10th. Sanchez, winner in stage 1, second stage 2.
Much needed points right there for him. Before he heads on down to Homestead, his home track. He's from Miami. All right, let's see what happened that brought out this caution.
Wow, those two orange and black trucks got together somehow. Watch Gillen come sliding through here.
I think he made contact with a 35 of Jake Garcia, I think, before he came into view. I'm not sure exactly. I think we're at the very tail end of the lead draft.
How did that happen? That was a big hit for Stewart. Both those trucks spun independently, though, didn't they?
It's kind of what it looked like. Although there might have been contact prior to us seeing that.
Here we go.
We got another.
Here we go.
You see,
Stewart got together with Brett Eckes.
is there a little shot from Eckes maybe into the left rear quarter panel of Friesen's?
That was wild for Friesen. No wonder he had the breath knocked out of him.
Look at it here.
See Eckes all the way down on the apron. It makes me think there was contact between he and Stuart Friesen. See Chandler Smith going through the grass, narrowly missing the 52.
When you have an accident like that, they take you to the infield care center. They'll go evaluate how Stewart's feeling, and we'll get your report on that.
Yeah, we'll get an update on Stuart Friesen. Meanwhile, stage 2 is in the books. Parker Clickerman picks up the win. Stay with us.
Your stage 2 results for the top 10 that will receive stage points with that caution ending the stage under yellow. Parker Clickerman will win this stage, his first stage win this season for the Truck Series. Nick Sanchez is going to end up finishing in second in the stage. Carson Hocevar third, Ty Majeski fourth, and Ben Rhodes fifth. Tanner Gray sixth, Taylor Gray seventh, Brett Holmes eighth, Dean Thompson ninth, and Corey Haim going to round out the top 10. Again, all receiving stage points. 4 playoff drivers, 5 actually in the top 10, but again, Haim is already locked into the championship. 19 stage points today for Nick Sanchez, most of any driver in the field. Hopefully, Stuart Friesen is okay. A very hard hit into the outside wall in turn 3 with the right front of his truck taking the most of that impact. A few other trucks involved, including David Gillen, Tyler Ankrum, with significant damage as well. Both Gillen and Friesen are already out of the race from the accident. Ankrum at least continuing for now and remains on the lead lap at the back of the pack. 30 trucks still remain in this race up to this point. Any further word from Friesen, again, you guys will get those updates. Hopefully he is okay. That was one big hit for Stuart Friesen into the outside wall. We're going to end our poll right now at 73 votes as we have reached the end of stage 2. 60% of you think that somebody other than Chase Purdy, Parker Clickerman, or David Gillen will win the race. Gillen has 16% of the votes was second. He's now out of this race, so he definitely won't win. Parker Clickerman wins stage 2, though, and Chase Purdy, 11% of the votes, is going to finish last of the 4 possible options from this poll. Jackson Thomas, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Thanks for anybody who I did not shout out throughout the course of this one. Earl Arnold Jr., Frank Powers, also welcome in. This is our first of 2 live commentary streams for the NASCAR race weekend. We will go live tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So again, 1:30 Eastern tomorrow, we will be live for the NASCAR Cup Series playoff race at Talladega, 500-mile 188-lap event there for the second race of the round of 12 of the playoffs. Parker Clickerman trying to play spoiler today, making an off start today with the Xfinity Series off this weekend. This is the only race Clickerman is running in this weekend. Qualifying for today's Cup race will actually be on after this Truck Series race is over. There won't be any live commentary for that, but If you're wondering why there wasn't any qualifying today, if you were looking to watch that, I believe it will be on the USA Network, and you can watch that at, I think it's scheduled for 4:30 Eastern time today. And that will set the starting lineup for tomorrow's race. No practice for either series this weekend once again. There will be pit stops when they come back from the commercial break. You'll get to listen into the pit reports. While we're waiting on that to go down, we will have our Stage 2 diecast showing, as we usually have during these live commentary streams. This driver has announced his return to NASCAR on the championship race weekend at Phoenix. That driver being Carl Edwards. Of course, he will be running the 25 truck, the Rackley Roofing team race truck at Phoenix, making his return with DiBenedetto out of that truck for the final few races of the season. So I've got a Carl Edwards diecast show off for you guys. The only one I have, and it was towards the end of his career. It was a Stanley number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Love the Stanley paint schemes, really the power tool paint schemes in NASCAR over the years. Irwin, DeWalt, Stanley. I always really liked Marcus Ambrose, had a nice Stanley scheme there for a while in the 9 car with RPM at the time, but I really like this one too for Carl Edwards, and it's the only Edwards diecast I have. So here is showing. I don't think I've showed this off on stream in a really long time, so there's that. But yeah, I always liked it. Christopher Bell still rocks the Stanley schemes from time to time. Actually, Truex has ran this very car with this very number multiple times as well before. I think Kyle Busch has even had a Stanley scheme a time or two when he was still with Joe Gibbs Racing. I believe this is from the 2015 season as well. So a 2015 Carl Edwards, Joe Gibbs Racing, number 19 diecast. So that is our diecast showing for Stage 2 today. Pit road is open this time by Kligerman, and the rest of the leaders are on their way in.
Playoff guys trying to get that victory in the stage and those valuable points.
So we're under caution for the second time for a big hit for Stuart Friesen. That brought out the green and white checker at the end of stage number 2. Parker Kligerman picked up that win. And now they're making their way to pit road. They're coming your way. Reagan?
Well, Jimmy, Coach Carson Hocevar did everything he could there at the end to get as many stage points as he could. Didn't want to get stuck in the middle, so he opted to stay on the bottom line. Keep an eye on this pit stop for him. They had a little trouble getting the tires out of the wheel well on the first stop. That's the only concern they got right now, Josh.
Well, the team told Nick Sanchez that he's doing a great job in this race, getting much needed stage points. Once again, he said he's happy with that truck. They're going to get 4 tires on this thing and fuel.
Parker Kligerman, everything going right for him still right now. The truck just a little loose, wants a small adjustment for that. And a water bottle, they dumped it all over him last time. He's a little thirsty in that truck.
It's a beautiful day in Talladega.
A lot of 2-tire stops there. Colby Howard actually goes no tires. That will win the race off pit road for Tanner Gray in the 15 truck. With the 2, the first driver with 4 tires off of pit road, losing 5 spots, was Nick Sanchez. Parker Kligerman also took 4, so they're looking for a little bit more grip. It'll be fun to watch them now in the middle of the pack for the ensuing restart. We'll have 50 laps to go as of right now in stage number 2. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get back to the action to begin stage 3. You're listening live KRC on this NASCAR YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't yet, and we're going to enjoy the finish of this race. Yep, only 2 cautions to this point. One of them was a stage 1 break. Our first incidental caution came out at lap 39 with 2 laps to go in stage 2. Few trucks involved in that incident, 4 to be exact. Stuart Friesen, Tyler Ankrum, David Gilliland, and Jake Garcia all involved. Not a lot of damage for Garcia. He'll continue. He's actually 17 laps down after having to change a clutch at the very start of the race today. Had some issues there. They pulled into the garage, pulled back onto the racetrack. He was far and out of the way of the pack, but not far enough. Same with David Gilliland. They got caught up in it. Gilliland was actually still in the lead lap and had a fast truck, was in contention to win stage 1, and was up in second and third place for a large majority of stage 2. Jumped out of line when things were getting hairy there, but obviously they moved himself far enough at the back of the pack, and that is one thing that Michael Waltrip stated over the broadcast, which is a very good point, that if you're going to drop out of the pack, you need to drop far enough out of the pack that when the wreck happens at the back of the pack that you're still able to miss it because obviously those two drivers were not able to. Nick Sanchez has led the most laps through the first two stages today so far. 22 laps led for him. 10 laps led for the 75 of Parker Kligerman. Chase Purdy led 4 laps at the start of the race today. Carson Hocevar also led for 5 laps. Those are the only drivers to lead during green flag conditions. And, of course, Tanner Gray just led his first lap of the race, winning the race off pit road there with a 2-tire stop. So he will be at the front of the field to begin stage 3. Sanchez will be 7th on the restart, Kligerman 10th. Those were the 2 stage winners in the race. Sanchez won stage 1, Kligerman the winner of stage 2. And again, here's a look at the point standings coming into the race. We haven't seen an update on Fox's graphics throughout the course of this race so far. But quick update for some of the playoff drivers. Nick Sanchez, 22 points out of the cutoff line coming into the race today. And Grant Enfinger. Enfinger gets no stage points in either stage today. Nick Sanchez gets 19. So going into the final stage, no matter where they are running, let's just take the stage points alone, Sanchez will actually be 3 points ahead of Enfinger. Hocevar got some stage points today. Same goes for Kushnekis. Obviously, none more than Sanchez, who scored the most. Ty Majeski also had some stage points. And I think Ben Rhodes failed to get stage points in both stages as well, so he is in a tight box. Zane Smith out of the race for right now, at least. A lot of damage to the right rear corner panel of his race truck. He was 14 points below the cutoff line coming into this one, and the reason for that damage was during the stage 1 break. They came down to pit road for the first time, and it seemed like he didn't really have as good of brakes. It was coming into his pit box a little hot, slid it sideways. In the process of doing so, he actually hit his front tire carrier, and in the process of doing that, it caused a lot of damage to the right rear corner panel of the race truck, significant enough that they have pulled him onto into the garage area, and still there as of right now with a few trucks out of the race. There are points to be had if he can get back out onto the track at some point in time. An incident took place during the caution, so I would like to think that he wasn't under the damaged vehicle policy clock. He should be able to continue if they can get the truck back on the track. Didn't look to be that much damage, but obviously enough that they didn't feel that they could continue. Decent crowd on hand at Talladega for this Truck Series race. 1 to go signal given that time by, which will officially give us 48 laps to go on this next restart. Enfinger 4 points ahead of Nick Sanchez as they run right now. Now, granted, Enfinger took 2 tires to jump ahead in the running order just a little bit. So he's actually running ahead of Sanchez, but off of stage points alone, Sanchez would have been above the cutoff line otherwise. Corey Heim locked into the championship 4 with a win, plus 16 points for Hocevar, plus 12 for Eckes. Very tight on that line. Outside of minus 4 for Sanchez for right now, minus 13 points for Ty Majeski. Zane Smith, who's in the garage, is minus 42 points, and more than likely in a must-win situation unless other playoff drivers get knocked out of the race before the end, which is not impossible. So I wouldn't quite say he's in a must-win situation yet, but the way things are going right now, it is looking that way. Almost halfway home. A little less than an hour into this race so far. It's going to be interesting to see what will happen the rest of the way. Tanner Gray, Colby Howard on the front row for the restart. Actually, the Gray brothers are on the front row. Howard decided to go inside of row 2 rather than outside of row 1. So the Gray brothers, Tanner on the inside, Taylor on the outside, who was third off of pit road. Pole sitter Chase Purdy will also be in row 2, right behind Taylor Gray in the outside lane. Got the regular season champ Corey Heim up in the top 5. He'll be inside of row 3. And Sanchez to his outside. All right, they've racked them and stacked them. Time to get going. Stage 3 underway at Talladega. Green flag back in the air. 48 laps to go. Purdy will be the first to bump draft Taylor Gray in the outside lane. Tanner didn't get a great push from behind by Colby Howard. Now they'll lock bumpers in the middle of turns 1 and 2, but it might be a bit too late. A lot of trucks moving into the third lane 3 wide to get around some other slower trucks. Hocevar to a fourth lane to the outside. Almost gets up against the wall. May have brushed it a little bit. Matt Craftsman went to follow him. Hocevar quickly went down the racetrack as he ran out of real estate. Taylor Gray going to move up into that line now. Nick Sanchez leading the middle groove, but about the front 3 or 4 trucks are going to be clear into turns 3 and 4. I've never seen that many trucks go 3 wide that quick on a restart here before. Or at least I can't remember the last time that has happened. It's amazing how quickly they got to 3 wide. They wasted very, very little time to do so. Now there are only about 4 trucks in that third lane on the outside, and they're well outside the top 15. Lost a lot of momentum moving up. Grant Enfinger, one of those trucks who restarted in 6th and has now fallen back. Colby Howard continues on in the bottom of row 2. Ends up being a good idea for him to move back where he did. Parker Kligerman is going backwards in that third lane. He was one of those trucks that decided to move up. He also restarted in 10th and now is outside the top 20 that quick. Sanchez trying to pull ahead forward now as it's mostly 2 lanes for the top, again, roughly 15 positions. But the top 3 still single file off turn 4. Sanchez getting a push. The truck he was working with a little bit too far off the bottom. Taylor Gray going to get shuffled out of line now, and Sanchez will get the push from Chase Purdy instead. How about Tyler Hill in the 56 truck up to the outside? Qualified outside the top 30 for the race today, but showing speed in the draft. Kept the truck clean to this point, and he's having a career day to this point. Dean Thompson, who's flirted around the top 10 all day, is also up there right around 7th place as of the start-finish line the last time by. Sanchez has pulled alongside Gray now for the race lead at the front of the field as they enter turn 3. Sanchez, one of the strongest trucks in the field. And of the stronger trucks in the field, it's him and Purdy, and they're both leading the way in that outside groove. Sanchez out in front of the field for the second different time. Can pull to the inside if he chooses. Kind of halfway between the bottom and the top and the center of the tri-ovals. He tries to drag the brakes, control the lane, not get too far ahead of the pack. Decides to stay up with Purdy for right now. Purdy stays to the back bumper of the 2 as Sanchez led that lap. Sanchez might have been dragging the brakes a little too long. By the time Purdy caught him, Sanchez ended up falling back to about 2nd or 3rd, and Gray back to the lead on the bottom again. Mostly double wide. Still a lot of bump drafting going on, as we've seen from the very start of this race. Like Howard moved up off the WL line just a little bit, not all the way into the second groove. One truck peeling onto pit road already from the middle of that lead pack. It looked like it might have been Daniel Dye in the 43. As they come to the line to complete 50 laps at Talladega, full screen commercial break for those of you watching on Fox Sports 1. We'll go through the full field running order real quickly. Tanner Gray, currently a race leader by 1/10 of a second over Colby Howard, who is still in 2nd. Nick Sanchez is 3rd. Corey Heim 4th. Chase Purdy in 5th. Tyler Hill 6th. Christian Eck is in 7th. Dean Thompson 8th. Brett Moffitt 9th. And Brett Holmes is in 10th. Jake Drew in 11th. Wallace Allen 12th. Ben Rhodes 13th. Tyler Ankrum 14th. Matt Kraft in 15th. Ty Majeski in 16th. Taylor Gray 17th. Grant Enfinger 18th. Parker Kligerman 19th. And Bailey Curry is 20th. Jack Wood in 21st. Raja Karut 22nd. Chandler Smith 23rd. Corey Roper 24th. Carson Hocevar in 25th. Haley Deegan 26th. Ryan Vargas 27th. 28th is Garrett Smithley, 29th is Greg Van Alsten. Daniel Dye, who just pulled the pit road, is in 30th. Last truck on the lead lap. First truck out of the race in 31st is Stuart Friesen. 32nd place finish today will be David Gillen. Jason M. White will finish 33rd. Jake Garcia 34th. Zane Smith 35th. And Brian Doza in 36th. That rounds out the 36 truck field. And we are under caution for the 3rd time today in the middle of this commercial break. We'll take a quick break ourselves here, and when they get back live on FS1, we'll get to see exactly how that accident ended up taking place. So lap 50, the site of caution number 3 today at Talladega, our second incidental caution of the race. Not sure who is all in it. But as you see on our leaderboard, the caution is out. Still on a full screen commercial break. They've not cut away from it yet. So again, we don't know exactly what transpired that caused this yellow flag this time around. I'll have you guys listen into the broadcast when that does end up happening. Still just outside the fuel window to make it to the end from here, so I doubt we're going to see many drivers hit pit road. And that fuel window is 30 to 32 laps today, but everybody will still have to pit one more time. Maybe some drivers at the back could top off, so they have to take less fuel this time around. Maybe put their last set of tires on and fingers on pit road, it looks.
Out for the third time, and problems for one of our playoff drivers, Grant Enfinger, involved in a four-truck spin and crash. There's damage throughout. You see Tyler Ankrum probably got the worst end of it, but Grant Enfinger, that front end of that truck doesn't look too good.
You know, you're just talking about the gray that was back in 17th is about where it starts. Tanner Gray gets a bit of a shove from behind.
Right in front of the Tide truck. That's the truck that's going to run in the back of Taylor Gray. It's going to turn him into the 16 truck of Tyler Ankrum, and he in turn catches the 88 of Matt Craftsman. You see Grant with absolutely nowhere to go. He runs into the side of Taylor Gray.
You see Kligerman slipping through again, that bright orange truck.
Was it the 41 truck, maybe of Daly Curry that was behind us?
That's so hard to see.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. That's the 41.
Yep.
Bam, just lost the momentum off the corner. You can't see that well out the trucks because of the one in front of you, and he just didn't have an idea that they were going to stack up like that.
And it's a chain reaction. You know, the first truck that sees them slow down has a good chance at it. The farther back you go, the harder it is.
Did Matt Craftsman slip through this?
No, he has some damage.
Damage on the left rear there.
He's going to get caught by Ankrum right there as Ankrum comes back across the racetrack. Ankrum's going to make some contact with the inside of the safety barrier as well.
Majeski with some damage.
I thought maybe he got through there unscathed. Great heads-up move for him, but obviously some damage to the right front. For Ty Majeski. Grant Enfinger had qualified mid-pack, made up some great gains. He wasn't concerned about starting back there, obviously. Got up front. But now serious damage.
I think Majeski thinks, his team thinks, well, we can run second with this thing. We get it in the draft. We can
Hard to lead, but we can sure push.
Here's some more damage, though. I think he's got pretty severe on the left front.
You see the right front tire is flat right now. Grant's already lost one lap. They turned him loose so he would not lose a second lap on pit road.
Here comes some of the leaders. Or excuse me, some of the players, because Kligerman was back right there where that crash happened. Probably just taking a Hail Mary here. Regan brings pit road at this point.
Yeah, Michael, and I think for a number of these guys that are pitting right now, not only Hail Mary, but also thinking about further down in the race. They take the tires right now, take a little bit of fuel, may make that final stop of the race shorter. I don't know that anybody can make it from this point on right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think 41 laps is a little bit out of the round, but that's exactly what we talked about before, Michael. You can spend less time on pit road on your next pit stop, just like Regan was talking about.
No tires probably then, just a splash.
Exactly. Yeah.
How will that all play out? How do they come to pit road under green? When do they make those decisions? There's a lot of strategy that's going to go in to these last 30-some laps.
Have a look at what brought up the last caution for us here. 8 trucks in all with some damage. Stay with us, drop the green flag.
So again, caution taking place during that last commercial break puts us under yellow for the third different time and the second time for an incident. We are left with 27 trucks in the lead lap still up to this point. We have had at least 8 drivers lead 1 lap or more in today's race, and of those 8 drivers, we have had a total of 13 lead changes from the start of this one through the first 53 laps. Tyler Ankrum, Taylor Gray, Ty Majeski, Matt Crafton, Grant Enfinger of those involved in this most recent incident. Free pass will be given to the 22 truck of Jason White, who has been multiple laps down. Jack Wood got the free pass at the end of stage 1 to get back on the lead lap after his pass-through penalty, though he still stays towards the back of the lead lap up to this point. Duffer Wilson says 6 more yellows. I really hope not. Stuart Friesen has been taken to a local hospital for further evaluation. I have not heard that myself yet, or at least I didn't pick up on it if they stated it over the broadcast, so I haven't heard anything about that. Hopefully that is not the case, but he was a bit shaken up following his crash back on lap 39. And the right front of his race truck smashed into the turn 3 outside wall. Gary Williams, thank you for tuning into the stream as well. Just over 100 people watching to this point. 53 likes. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream today, so if you have not hit that like button yet, be sure to do so. Once again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our live commentary coverage for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race at Talladega will begin at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Eastern Time. Again, 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, Eastern Time. Tune in for our live commentary coverage of tomorrow's race. We'll have our pre-race predictions beginning then, as well as, of course, the race to come after that. Full flag-to-flag coverage, brief post-race show as well. You'll get to listen into some of the top finishers interview-wise for that race also.
Tanner Gray shown as the leader. We'll have 40 laps to go. When we get back to green flag racing, now trouble for a couple playoff drivers today. We just talked about Grant Enfinger. He is in the free pass position. He's 1 lap down, but he's got a lot of damage. But it's all been about Zane Smith. He's been back in the garage for some time now as they continue to work on it. And he's sitting there. Let's just dial him up. What do you think?
Let's try it. Hey, Zane Smith, this is a Fox booth. You got a copy? Okay. Buddy, we see your truck back in the garage area working on what happened to that thing?
Yeah, I mean, first off, huge. I haven't been able to see him yet, but whoever it was, I think who I hit, feel terrible about that, but well, it wasn't a great start. And then I guess after that, when they rolled off the pit road down the back stretch, my clutch was slipping, and it got worse and worse and worse until I got really horizontal. So fighting that, changing as much as we can right now to get back out there and get back rolling. But it's a bummer. So I'll get some situation here in a couple weeks.
All right, buddy, we appreciate you talking to us, and we did talk to Charles Plank, your tire carrier, and he was all smiling and all good to go. So that was good news, but tough break for you guys, and go get him at Homestead, buddy.
Take a look again. Talk about his tire carrier. Look at that. It's 2 tires in his arms. It's drilled. All that damage on the right rear.
He reacted so athletically. He dropped one of the tires. He said, I tried to jump the truck. He did everything he could.
Over 50 pounds per tire, by the way.
I was going to say, there's no way carrying like nearly 100 pounds of tires that he was going to clear.
The dent he put in it. Stellar athlete. Josh talked to him, and he was smiling, had a fat lip, a little bit of blood on there, but he said, I can't wait to go for the next stop.
Yeah, so glad he's okay.
Unfortunately, they haven't had a second stop because they had further issues. Reagan?
Well, Jamie, just updating one of our playoff drivers, Carson Hosapar, the second time by when pits were open, they decided to go ahead and take 2 right side tires, get a full fuel load on that truck, check with crew chief Phil Gould to make sure everything was okay. He said, we just didn't want to risk getting any damage on pit road. They came back as we got the one to go and topped off. Look for them to be one of those trucks with a little bit more fuel, maybe a little shorter pit stop at the end also.
Interesting. You think, I mean, what's their strategy at this point? He can't make it to the end.
No, but he knows he's got more fuel and he's got tires. His stop's going to be quicker. I'm sure he'll ride. I would guess Carson will try to go to the front of this pack. He's not just going to ride in the back, but when it comes time to pit, when they make the green flag pit stop, and if they do so with a manufacturer alliance, that means when he comes to pit road, he doesn't have to stay there so long.
Tonight on Fox, Corey Seager leads the Rangers against the Mariners in a final showdown before the postseason. Or the newly crowned AL East champion Orioles take on the Red Sox. It all begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific tonight on Fox. Fox is a busy place to be. It's a great time to be at Fox, right? We've got NFL, we've got NASCAR, we've got playoffs right now for the Truck Series.
You can see them shaking the truck, trying to make sure they get every ounce of fuel in it. Once you've made your bid, you might as well just go ahead and keep topping off every single lap and give Majeski more time for his guys to work on that right front fender.
One crew member was shaking the truck and one of them was shaking his groove thing. They were dancing. It looked like a party down there on
It's like
the
a
road.
cheerleader. Keep shaking, boys. Let's go. So far on the day, Nick Sanchez has led the most laps, 24. Parker Kligerman, 10. That was good. See him on the right?
Let's go.
Let's
What
go.
that's all about.
Add the fuel, shake the truck. Let's go.
Maybe it's his birthday. You never know.
Could be.
They're having fun. Like you guys just said it, they're in a good spot. Drive to the front. Let's lead this thing. We'll pit when we need to.
17 stage points so far today for Hocevar.
It's been a good year for Carson Hocevar. Okay then.
I think they may be construction to the checker, but I got an idea.
I mean, another caution, you think that?
How often do you stop this race at the scheduled distance?
Rarely.
Especially here.
That's Phil Gould you just heard. Talking scenario. It'll be fun.
Here we go.
Grant Enfinger right now is still the only truck one lap down, so he needs a quick caution. Get him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar just ahead of him in the 26th spot, so it'll be fun to watch what he can do driving through the pack.
37 laps to go at Talladega as the green flag is about to be back in the air as the field enters the Geico restart zone through the center of the tri-oval. Good launch on the bottom lane. And a pretty good push up on the top there behind Nick Sanchez. Chase Birdie still staying with him. A couple of Chevys trying to lead the way at the front of the field. While Tanner Gray on the bottom, finally getting help from Colby Howard in the number 9 truck. A lot of these drivers at the front of the field took right sides only during their Stage 2 pit stop. Everybody still has to pit one more time to the end of the race. Some at the back of the pack trying to save fuel that pitted under this most recent caution, trying to hope that they can maybe save enough to make it to the end if we stay green the rest of the way. We've only had 2 cautions for incident to this point, so still quite a few trucks in this one. 27 of the 36 on the lead lap, and still 30 of them in this race. Nick Sanchez on the top groove, trying to get back to the race lead again. Center of the tri-oval as they're getting up to speed. Christian Eckes, a playoff driver in contention as well, trying to get a win to lock himself into the championship 4. Same goes for Sanchez. Grant Enfinger, after being involved in that last incident, is a lap down in the free pass position. If we were to see a caution, he would get back on the lead lap. There are only, if you count Corey High, who's already in the championship 4, of the other playoff drivers, the 7 of them, only 4 of them are still on the lead lap. 2 of which in the top 10, which would be Eckes and Sanchez. Crash on the backstretch, one truck hard into the inside wall. A couple of them get together. The 41 is in it. Of Bailey Curry. I couldn't tell who else got caught up there. I was looking at the leaderboard right as that took place. 56, Tyler Hill, the Buffalo Wild Wings race truck, is taken out as well. I was thinking about getting B-dubs after the race today when I'm watching my Michigan football game. Oddly enough, the B-dubs car involved in the incident there. A little bump drafting gone wrong on the back straightaway in that outside groove. Couldn't tell who it was that got sideways, but Whoever got sideways ended up hooking the 41 in front of him, knocked the 41 into the 56. Tyler Hill was up inside the top 10 for most of stage 2. Tough to see him at the back of the pack when that took place there. Looks like it might have been Grant Enfinger in the 23 who had caught him. Which is, if that is the case, he's going to be involved in the incident and he's not going to get back on the lead lap. Yeah. And it wasn't a bump draft. It looked like the 41 moved down into Enfinger. Enfinger got sideways after the initial contact and then ended up overcorrecting it into the left rear corner panel of the 41. Surprised there weren't more trucks taken out, although that was at the very back of the pack. Not a vicious impact into the inside wall for Curry, but enough damage that will knock him out of the race as he will now exit his race truck as it is still parked on the back stretch. So put it on the rollback and head to the garage. Tyler Hill drove his race truck back around the racetrack, but I believe his day will more than likely be done as well, as he seemed to have had even more damage than what the 41 had. So with Enfinger being involved in the incident, he will not get the free pass. Right on the edge of the fuel window again, even closer now than what the most recent caution was, as we only got about a lap and a half of green flag racing in there. Most of the field will line up to come to pit road. And if we go green to the end from here, it will be a fuel mileage race at Talladega. Here come the leaders.
As you see, the drivers making their way down pit road. Could this be the final stop? Regan.
Well, the 11 of Corey Heim thought about doing this last time of potentially stretching it. Now with this caution, it was a no-brainer. They're going to pit, get fuel for this truck, and try to stretch it to the end. Josh?
Fuel only stop for the 2. They told me Sanchez when you feel a beat on the hood, go. Just 5 seconds of fuel for the 2, Regan.
Christian Heckett's rebounded nicely after the trouble. Earlier in the race, there was no damage that they needed to worry about on the right front. The truck has been slimy all day long, and trouble for him getting through traffic. Just can't make moves.
Carson Hosevar, that plan worked out well for that team.
Fuel only for most of these teams. Right side's only for a couple of drivers. Nick Sanchez wins the race off pit road to maintain up at the front of the field and in the race lead. Once again, we are under caution for the 4th time in the race today. Lap 60 of 94 to this point, giving us 34 laps to go currently. We'll take a quick ad break here. Second to last one of our live commentary coverage for this Truck Series race. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we continue our flag-to-flag coverage of this truck race. Still think Michigan has a football team. Hey, they got a good football team. They, couple of them now, if you count the Detroit Lions. Kicking some butt this season. I'm a Packers fan when it comes to NFL ball, so, I mean, we did get our butts whooped the other night by Detroit. But it's a new-look Packers team. They aren't nearly as good as the Lions, obviously, as we saw. And the Lions, I think, personally, I'd probably say they're the 3rd best team in the NFL, only behind the Eagles or the 3rd best team in the NFC. Let me rephrase that. The 3rd best team in the NFC, only behind the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think they play more consistent to their game than what the Cowboys do. Personally. They just seem to execute a little bit more when it comes to clutch situations later in the game. We've seen that, especially offensively, so far out of the Lions this season. Enough about that, though. As far as this race goes, that has knocked us now down to 25 trucks in the lead lap, 2 of them taken out of the race. And again, Grant Enfinger does not get the free pass because he was technically involved in the incident. Even though he doesn't have much damage from it, he did have contact with the 41, which caused him to go sideways. So he'll still be a lap down. Waiting for our leaderboard to update when they get back to the start-finish line this time by. There we go. Brett Holmes will actually be the leader. There were 2 trucks that stayed out of the pits that had pitted the caution before that. They think that they still might be able to make it to the end, or they think the whole field will still not be able to make it, so they chose to stay out one way or another. Brett Holmes will be the leader in the 32. Jack Wood will be second, and then Sanchez, who won the race off pit road with the fuel-only stop, will be in 3rd on the restart. And I'd probably say that Nick Sanchez and Parker Kligerman have the 2 fastest trucks in the field. They were the 2 stage winners. They've been able to control the pack a little bit more when they are out in front. Kligerman's still back at 12th for right now in the middle of the pack, trying to move himself forward. Sanchez has been there for most of the days. He still is in, again, P3 for the ensuing restart. Not sure if they have gotten the 1-to-go signal yet or not. They have. We will go green this time. We'll have 32 laps to go. 30 to 32 green flag laps is the fuel window. So again, we are right there on the borderline of being able to make it. It's going to depend how many more caution laps we get the rest of the way. If we somehow went caution free to the end, it's going to be very tight. It's going to be a fun watch. Seeing a lot of aggressive racing all day. Really, we haven't seen the field string out into one giant long single file line. They have been double wide or even 3 wide for most of this race. And still well over half the field is intact and in contention to get the win. For the tri-oval with the pace truck on pit road, the green flag is back in the air as the field enters the Geico restart zone once again. 32 to go at Talladega. Brett Holmes leads the field. Sanchez decided to be the first truck on the outside groove. Holmes gets knocked sideways as he did not get bump drafted properly going into the first turn. Jumped down below the WL line, cost the whole bottom lane to bottleneck, and allows for Sanchez to get back to the lead on the outside. Sanchez pulls to the bottom now, all clear, and about 3 car lengths out ahead of the rest of the field. Might have moved to the bottom too soon because the 2 trucks on the outside are pushing themselves forward, and now that will move Brett Moffitt to the race lead in the 34. Sanchez getting pushed now by Holmes as the top 3 trucks on the outside get him. Contact between Sanchez and Holmes. They are bottlenecking the whole bottom lane up again. That time it was Holmes giving a bad push. The 2 is coming onto pit road. He's got a problem, and something has happened here for Nick Sanchez. He might have a tire going down. We'll listen in.
Nick Sanchez.
Laying back. We've seen a couple of restart violations for guys changing lanes before the green flag, before the start line.
Remember, we're a long way from the start-finish line.
So restart violation, it sounds like, for Sanchez. He pulls to pit road. I don't think Holmes was ready for him to jump on the line, and that's what caused the contact in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Now it's a single file lineup at the front of the field for really the first time today. We'll see how long they will stay single file for. A lot of fuel conservation going on right now, but for Brett Moffitt, he was one of the 2 trucks that had actually stayed out of the pits with that last caution. He's the only front row motorsport truck still in this race. Of course, the 38 of Zane Smith has been in the garage for a numerous amount of laps since the end of stage 1. And so he's all by himself out there trying to win this thing. Chandler Smith in the 25 truck running this week in replacement of Matt DiBenedetto. That team won this race a year ago with Matty D. We'll see if Chandler Smith can get him back-to-back wins at Talladega in the fall. Hocevar bleeding up to that bottom lane, or that top lane, just a little bit. He didn't actually go for it, though. Eckes in the 19 truck right in line behind him from 4th will move to the outside. He'll lead the charge up there with Chase Purdy, who has been a great push truck all day today. There's been numerous trucks Purdy's been able to push to the front of the field. Of course, qualifying on the pole this morning. We know he's got a lot of speed under the hood of the 4, and he is pushing Eckes all the way up to the outside of Chandler Smith for 2nd, and is now going for the race lead at the start-finish line on the 34 truck of Brett Moffitt. Moffitt stays to the bottom, doesn't decide to block to the outside, staying organized with 29 laps to go. Going down to side draft now. We haven't seen that much from the outside group. Now Moffitt up to block the outside off turn 2 in front of Eckes. Eckes looking to the back bumper of the 34. He's going to push him. Will he move to the bottom and try to make a move there? They're clear of the 2 trucks on the inside. At least Moffitt is. Into the corner. Eckes goes to the outside instead. And now 3 wide for the lead as the 34 gets put in the middle. The 25 of Chandler Smith was able to get by for the race lead. Eckes has no help in the 3rd lane. We'll see if anybody comes up to get him. And he is going backwards. There was a chance and a lot of time for somebody to go up there and help Eckes. Nobody wanted to. He goes backwards after getting hung out in the third lane. And now it's the 34 on the top side of the racetrack with the 25 leading the way on the bottom. Hocevar's the second truck in line, pushing the 25 into turn 1 of the double yellow line. And the Ford truck of Chase Purdy again pushing another truck on the outside as he is locking bumpers in the middle of the corner. Off of turn 2, looking for the run down the backstretch. Off the banking. Still staying connected. Now moves to the inside. Moffitt couldn't block. The 25 pushes to 4, and Purdy gets to the lead into turn 3. It's the first time he's led since the 5th lap of the race today, when he led the first 4 laps from the pole. Chase Purdy out in front of Talladega, and we'll see if Chandler Smith now will make a move, or will he stay in line behind the Ford truck on the bottom. It looks as if he's going to stay in line on the bottom as they enter the tri-oval. Moffitt gets a run and help now from the 98 truck of Ty Majeski. Rather than 99 of Ben Rhodes, the other Thor Sport truck up there. Rhodes get a lead at the start-finish line. Or push the 34 to the lead at the start-finish line. And the 34 of Moffitt moves back to the bottom. And Rhodes leads the outside with his teammate Matt Craftsman right behind him. Thor Sport trucks, those two have been together all day today. Mostly at the back of the pack dropping out of line. But now have worked their way forward at the right time. One truck gets split 3 wide middle. Right around the 7th and 8th place position. Craftsman and Rhodes stay together in the outside. Third lane forming all of a sudden now. As there are multiple trucks in the outside groove. Things are dicing up with 27 laps to go. Brett Moffitt continues to hang on for now at the front of the field. Part-time schedule in the Truck Series, full-time now in the Xfinity Series. The former Truck champion about to lose the lead again to Chase Purdy. Purdy to the outside as he pumped out a line in front of the Thor Sport trucks to lead that lap at the line. 26 to go. They'll lock bumpers again into turn 1. Your top 5 at the line that last time by. Chase Purdy in the lead. Brett Moffitt second. Ben Rhodes third. Chandler Smith fourth. And Matt Craftsman is in fifth. A lot of lane changing going on at the front of the field, and a lot of lead changes have taken place since the lap 32 restart. A wild race at Talladega still to come in these final 26 laps. We still don't know who can make it on fuel, and whoever is leading is going to be burning the most fuel. And Moffitt's been up towards the front of this pack for the majority of this run. Goes to the outside to block the Ford truck of Chase Purdy. Back to the bottom in front of the 25 of Smith. Back to the outside again in front of Purdy at the start-finish line. Now he runs halfway between the top and bottom, stays to the outside into the first turn. Purdy moving up just a little bit as he gets a slight bobble after a push from Rhodes into that corner.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, where we're live from the Love's RV Stock 250. Brett Moffitt continues to lead here. First start of the year. It's got to feel good to be out front.
Man, it's hard to do what he's doing, though, crossing over from lane to lane, and you can see it fit in there. Purdy had the run to the bottom, but just shucked Brett Moffitt from the lead.
And I think it's harder in these trucks because they pump such a big hole here than it would be for the cup cars or the Xfinity cars.
What about Jake Drew? Let's give a shout-out to that young man in the 61 truck. Third one on the bottom, right inside the top 5. I also want to give a shout out to Corey Heim. He's locked in. He's racing for a championship. He said, I want a checkered flag. I don't care about laying back. That shows you the spirit of that young man.
Jake Drew has been a handful of starts this year. Markham Menard's West champion last season.
I've been hanging in there. A little bit of help from Ben Rose. You see the red number 99.
Here comes Matt Craftsman.
What, did he spin out just a little while ago?
Now he's in the middle of the top 10.
Never won here.
That's been one of his better tracks. I think his fourth is his best finish. And he's raced in every race we've ever had here at Talladega.
He's in a position today. It's the most volatile that front row has been. We've seen a lot of huge runs by Brett up the outside, and then they switched it around. Brett was on the inside, Chase Purdy up. A lot of runs toward the front.
I'm really impressed with what Chase Purdy has done the last few weeks. Got his first career pole just a couple of races ago at Kansas. The 51 of Jack Wood, see the damage. It's all falling apart. That'll bring out the caution for the 5th time.
Yeah, that'd be a great break for all these teams that are a little bit iffy on fuel. These caution laps will make sure that they will get them in their window.
And a huge break for Grant Enfinger. He's the first truck a lap down. He'll get right back into the hunt. Looking to pick up some positions right now. As they run, he's in a bit of a bind coming racing for a championship.
Nick Sanchez, do remember he made that pit stop for a penalty. He now will get back to the tail end of the field. He did not go a lap down.
Jeff Hensley says, all right, I'll take it. We're back in the mix. Got our lap back.
Jack Wood doing a great job, but just a little bit of damage, and away goes that hood.
Nice 12th at the time.
Nice job by all the trucks around him not to overreact. Keep everybody going in the right direction.
And you see the reason that NASCAR had to throw in the caution flag. You see all the debris from that hood flying all over the racetrack.
Tanner Gray, just squeezes to the bottom.
It's been a wild one so far. 22 laps to go from Talladega. You don't want to miss it. Can Chase Purdy hang on or somebody else?
So there you heard it, 22 laps left. Chase Purdy leads at Talladega as we are under caution for the 5th time today. Debris on the racetrack following a hood just disintegrating basically in the middle of the pack off the hood or off the front of the 51 truck of Jack Wood. We must have had damage which caused a little bit of a bubble effect, and the hood ends up coming up. Looked like it started coming off the car right around the left side and then just kind of tore from left to right, as if it was flipping a page in a book. So, sheared off into the wind at speeds of right around 200 miles an hour, and now all of a sudden, he will have to come back onto pit road and probably get a new hood on there. Mystical Bandit, Tony Bradley, Roxy Bollinger, Dark Shadows, thanks for tuning into the stream, and thank you for everybody tuning in who I have not given a shout-out to throughout the course of today's race. Appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in here on this Saturday afternoon and early afternoon race. Don't usually see start times this early in NASCAR anymore, noon local time, but needless to say, starting early. They have Cup qualifying at the track coming on later today, and we will see who is going to win that race. We'll have live commentary coverage of tomorrow's Cup race at 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. Right here on the channel. As far as today's race goes, we're up to 67 likes on the stream. Way more than that many people currently watching this one. So be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Our goal is 100 likes on this live stream today. So again, 100 likes is the goal. We're at 67 right now. So be sure to hit that like button, guys. Helps the channel and the stream out a ton. As far as the race itself goes, pretty good one so far. We have seen pretty much no single file racing the whole way. They were single file for like not even a full lap off this last restart. There was a little bit of disorganization going on in the bottom lane, which caused a lot of the trucks in the outside to blow past the trucks on the bottom. By the time they moved up in front of them, those trucks for the back of the pack quickly moved back to the outside and tried to get their runs back and get that track position back that they had prior to the restart. So we'll see what will happen here. 26 trucks will be on the lead lap when we go back to racing, with Enfinger getting the free pass this time. And the 51 of Jack Wood, we'll see if he'll be able to stay on the lead lap as they try to repair the damage to the front of that race truck following his hood coming off. I'm not sure what all damage was on the truck other than the hood itself. I don't know if he was maybe jacked up in the bottom lane, whatever the case was. Yeah, we'll see. Up to 73 likes, 27 away. Keep hitting that like button, ladies and gents. Once again, 21 to go at Talladega.
Studio, Caitlin Vinci alongside Larry McReynolds, Chopper 9. What a race this has been so far. We knew it would not disappoint. A number of playoff contenders with issues. So the laps are counting down. We're getting to the tail end of this race. What's going through crew chief driver's mind with the pressure on the line?
Well, for the drivers, the guys that are up front, they're almost right now in a defensive mode. I want to stay up here. What can I do to make sure I keep my track position so I have something at the end of the race? And while you're doing that, you're thinking, how can I make my move? What am I going to do at the end to get the win in this race? And if you're one of the guys in the back, you're frustrated as can be because we've seen it twice now. Christian Eckes, he tried the outside. went straight to the back. Parker Klingerman got shot to the outside. He went straight to the back. So you cannot get out of those 2 lanes, and it's frustrating for those guys in the back.
Well, and as a crew chief, I go back to what I said on race day. We have made our final pit stop. I'm sitting on that pit box, and I'm a race fan now. I am helpless. There's nothing more I can do. It's about my driver. It's about my spotter. But we saw a fairly calm stage 1. And then the intensity wrapped up in stage 2. They just told these drivers roughly 20 laps to go. It's going to only get more intense, I can promise you. We're probably not going to caution.
Probably not. The intensity is certainly starting to ratchet up. All right, let's go back out to the racetrack and join Regan Smith.
Chase Birdie's crew chief Jimmy Villeneuve, you've got your driver to the front, home race for him. What do you do to keep him up there now in these last few laps?
You just got to be patient, listen with spotter, and, the yellow line's your best friend out there. Stay on the bottom. You got a really fast truck. Chase has done a great job all day. So we got 20 laps to go and have fun.
Fast truck, it looks good out front. Good luck. Josh?
I'm the crew chief of the 34, Seth Barber over here. Brett Moffitt's in great position right now, 3rd on the board, but how do you get him into victory lane?
Well, he's a well man. He's going to find his way up there. Unfortunately, the main purpose of running this 34 truck today was, focusing on the 38, the championship they're running for. So it's unfortunate that they've had the issues that they've had. But we want to go race for a trophy now.
Thanks. Good luck.
Good to see Seth Barber back. He's a technical director at Front Row, but crew chief today. Hey, stay with us. 20 laps to go from Talladega.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty at the Talladega Super Speedway. We'll have the race start on the other side of another full-screen commercial break. You can watch the race on Fox Sports 1 if you're wondering what channel the race is on today. Tomorrow, NBC, your local NBC affiliate for the Cup race. In fact, the rest of the NASCAR Cup Series races for the rest of the season, the final 6 points-paying races, will be on NBC. Norla Motorsports, thanks for tuning in as well. Up to 79 likes. We're 21 likes away from our goal of 100 coming into this one. See if we can get that up to 100 here to the finish. And we will see if the field will stay green to the very end of this race as well. In case they don't, we're going to take our final ad break of the stream here today. So, again, we'll take our final ad break. We'll bring you the coverage the rest of the way following that ad-free. Now we're only 18 likes away. Thank you, everybody, for hitting that like button. Keep on doing so. Let's get that up to 100. So your top 10 for this ensuing restart would be Chase Purdy, Chandler Smith in second. Purdy obviously leading, Brett Moffitt in third. Ben Rhodes is fourth, Jake Drew in fifth, Corey Heim sixth, Matt Kraft in seventh, Brett Holmes in eighth, Carson Hocevar ninth, and Lawless Allen is in 10th. So once again, that is the top 10 in the running order with 19 laps to go. And we should get a restart very, very soon. I don't imagine we're going to have too many more caution laps following the debris incident. Quite a bit of debris, obviously, with the hood disintegrated into multiple pieces there. So they probably had to work all the way through 1 and 2 down the backstretch, trying to find every piece of sheet metal they could. The field is doubled up. We will be going green this time by, I believe they're working their way off of turn 4 right now. So we'll have 18 laps to go on the restart. Still a potential fuel mileage situation here. We last restarted with 32 to go. We ran about 3 laps under caution with this debris yellow. So this puts us right around 29 to 30 green flag laps. And they obviously pitted just before that for caution, so still very close on fuel to the end of the race for a lot of these teams with when we saw that second to last yellow. And now the restart is coming. Chase Purdy going to be on that bottom groove this time. Brett Moffitt on the outside lane for the front row. Both trucks getting the push from the drivers in row 2. Green flag back in the air. Big squirrely moment there on the bottom lane again as they're again disorganized. The 45 of Lawless Allen and the 42 of Carson Hocevar quickly moving up into the middle. One truck is very slow, and that is Chase Purdy. Purdy is slow going off into turns 1 and 2. So from the inside of row 1, he did not take off there at all. I don't know if he missed a shift or something happened, and he is slow. Try to get up to speed. Matt Crafton to the outside of the race leader, Brett Moffitt. Moffitt quickly moved to the bottom as soon as Purdy pulled out of line. He had the momentum, went down in front of the 99 of Rhodes. The ThorSport trucks of Rhodes and Crafton are split up for now. We'll see if they can get together at some point and try to go after Moffitt for the race lead. Purdy did not go and just jacked everybody up there. Not going to be any lane violation restarts for that, with Chase Purdy obviously having an issue. Hard to stay organized when something like that ends up taking place. Matt Crafton, who was on the outside of Moffitt for the lead, is not able to stay there the following lap. He's on the outside of about the 5th place truck. Purdy is back rolling at full speed again. Obviously well off the lead pack, all by himself with no drafting help. So we are looking at a situation now where he's going to need a caution to get back caught up to the back of the pack. Not impossible for that to happen, but he's running out of laps to do so. And even when the caution comes out, he's going to have to be at the back of that pack. And the less amount of green flag laps he's going to have to make his way through the field, the less of a chance, of course, he's going to have of winning. 16 to go this time by. Can Brett Moffitt get the win at Talladega? He has not ran a truck race in a little bit here during the course of the season. I don't think he's ran a single playoff race yet in the truck series side of things. Ran a few races earlier in the regular season. Parker Kligerman trying to work himself forward. Has not been towards the front of the field since he had won Stage 2. He was one of the few drivers that took 4 tires during that Stage 2 pit stop to go for grip, but he has not been able to get back through the field. Now he's trying to, as he leads the outside lane with help from Matt Crafton and others. He's pulled alongside about the 5th or 6th place race truck. Kligerman trying to get his 4th career win in the truck series. Him and Purdy look to be 2 of the fastest trucks in the field of those remaining in this race. Purdy obviously off the pace now, at least on the restart. He's back up to full speed now, but it's too late. So we'll see if Kligerman can go out and win this. And credit to Brett Moffitt also for getting to the front of the field, staying there. He's been able to block and control both lanes very well. Trouble now in the center of the tri-oval, heading down towards past the start-finish line for Raja Karuth, sliding to the inside. Everybody seemed to have missed him, and we are under caution with 15 laps to go. And I believe this is the 6th caution of the race today at lap 79. So caution number 6, Raja Karuth involved. Not sure who else might have been caught up in it. Karuth was running right around the 15th place position at the time of the incident. Not sure what lane he was in or how it started. Taking a look at the replay. And he was in the 3rd lane on the outside. It looked like Hocevar just got him sideways. Carson Hocevar was pushing him in the tri-oval. And around went Karuth. They say that that's the lightest area of the racetrack for the trucks, especially to be bump drafting. It looked like he was already connected with them most of the way through the tri-oval. And 24 danced around a little too much, lost control. Ended up actually hooking a truck that was just underneath him in the right rear and knocked that truck into the wall. Karuth did not hit the wall, so he doesn't have too much damage. I was not able to tell exactly whose truck that was that ended up in the outside wall, but they have somewhat significant damage, and I doubt that they will be able to continue. Free pass will go to Taylor Gray. He'll go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. And there is more damage on the left front of Karuth's race truck than what I initially thought. Quite a big dent there. And they'll probably have to bring that truck to pit road when pit road opens. Surprised he didn't pit that time by. Probably trying to get caught back up with the pack first. Then he'll pit the following time. It's not a major tire rub, at least under caution speed. But being at the back of the pack, they might as well pit. Zane Smith back out on the racetrack right now as well. Multiple laps down. I'm not sure if he's able to gain any more positions to the end. He's 44 laps down, but he is back on the track, and he actually can pick up more positions. He's only 2 laps behind Friesen and Gilliland. And about 14 laps behind Ankrum, he can get by to the end of the race. As far as anybody else, we're going to have to run laps past the scheduled distance for him to catch anybody else in the running order from 31st on up, so he can at least get 3 more points. before the end of this race, trying to get himself in a slightly better position going into Homestead, so he might not have to win to get into the Championship 4, although it is still looking that way if the remaining playoff drivers at least just continue into this race. Don't get involved in anything serious here. Don't lose too many points, especially those that are above the cutoff line. Old Soul, thanks for tuning in. Perry, also welcome to the stream. Hope they can go green the rest of the way, but I got a bad gut feeling. I hope so too. The more exciting laps we see in the closing end at Talladega or Daytona, the better it is. In my personal opinion, hate to see drivers get involved in incidents, risking injury, especially at this style of racetrack. Moffitt out in front, laps winding down under caution. Ben Rhodes right up there in second. Then you got Eckes and Thompson. That's Chandler Smith and Corey Heim, followed by Jake Drew and Parker Kligerman, and then back around row 5 for the restart in the back half of the top 10, Daniel Dye and Matt Crafton. Dye, the only rookie inside the top 10. Nick Sanchez, who had a lot of speed earlier in the race as well, also struggled on the 32 laps to go restart. Put him at the back of the pack. He got caught up with the most recent cautions and has made his way back to 13th. He's got time to get up there if we stay green long enough. But he's going to have to make some moves and can't get boxed in the bottom. He's probably going to want to restart in that outside lane so he can try to be on the offense. You're on the bottom. You're just kind of stuck there with the WO line underneath you. You only have one way to be able to pass cars. If there's too many cars up there, you just can't make your way off of them. That's why you see so many of the faster trucks today, or faster cars in general, when you go to the super speedway races, making moves more than likely on the outside to get through the field, especially Talladega, which is a much wider racetrack than that of Daytona or the newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway. 26 trucks on the lead lap. Again, Taylor Gray is one lap down. He got the free pass, but he is still one down. He goes from 2 down to 1 down. Dog with the squeaky toy back there. Becoming a common occurrence on the live commentary streams. He was sleeping the whole race up to this point, though. Missing all the action. 10 different drivers have led at least one lap in the race today. And so far we have had 21 lead changes to this point. And we maybe have not seen the last. Each of the last 5 races was decided on a last lap pass in which the driver winning the race led only the final lap. We'll see if that trend will continue for a 6th consecutive truck race at Dega here today. I don't believe Ben Rhodes has led at all yet. He's up at the front in second. Nope, he has not led a lap today. He's been hanging out around the back for most of the day, trying to stay out of the carnage, and he worked his way forward here off of that final restart. Has stayed out of trouble still and is looking for a win to lock himself into the Championship 4. Much needed when he came into this race today. He was 19 points below the cutoff line. He didn't get any stage points today either. And was below the cutoff line to begin the final stage still. Now with a win, he can lock himself into the Championship 4. And he won't have to worry about Homestead in a couple of weeks. Field, I believe, is doubled up. It's kind of hard to tell. They're actually doubled up or not. They might not have gotten to the one to go signal yet. I don't think they have. No, they'll get one to go this time by, so we should restart with 10 laps to go. So again, 10 to go on the restart. Rhodes is actually tied with Nick Sanchez on points as we run, but that's based off of Rhodes in second, Sanchez in 12th right now. Obviously, Sanchez can gain more positions. Rhodes cannot, unless he wins, of course, which would lock him in. So from a point standings perspective, if Sanchez can pick off a few more, he can put himself in a good position. Enfinger minus 4 points. Ty Majeski minus 6. Majeski on the restart has a lot of points he can gain with the minus 6 as he's in 15th, and the same goes for Enfinger, who, again, minus 4 points, is in 19th in this race. A lot of playoff drivers outside the top 10 right now, excluding Rhodes and Eckes in second and third. Corey Hyman 6th, who won at Bristol in the first race of the round, locked into the championship 4 already. Just looking to add another career win to his name today to try to get that third of the season. I should say 4th win of the season for Heim if he is able to win today. 2 in the regular season and 1 playoff win so far. Joanne C, thanks for tuning in. You're in at the right time. 89 likes on the stream. We're 12 away. Sorry, I did my math wrong there. 11 away from our goal of 100 likes. So if you have not yet hit the like button, again, be sure to do so. Got about 132 concurrent viewers watching this stream right now. We'll have 10 laps to go when the restart this time by. Field doubled up down the back straightaway. .26 trucks on the lead lap, all in contention to still win this race with 10 laps to go. This very weekend, 23 years ago, Dale Sr. got his final win of his career, going from about 26th to 1st in the final 4 laps of the race. It can be done for any one of the 26 on the lead lap now. The longer they wait, the less likely it is to happen, but still not impossible. And we will see which of them will win this one here today. 10 to go. Again, this time by. On the bottom lane of the front row is Brett Moffitt. He's got his hand out the window net trying to give the signal for Ben Rhodes to push him. Row on the outside in rows 1 and 2. You've got Christian Eckes outside. Behind him, Chandler Smith, as the green flag is back in the air. Each of the first 2 trucks in both lanes getting quite a ways out ahead of the third truck on back. A lot of tandeming going on. Now the outside lane starts to separate as Chandler Smith fell way off the back bumper of the 19 of Eckes. I'll get back to him off of turn 2. Try to build up a second head of steam. 4 wide, further back in the pack. Right around where Hocevar is at in that outside lane in the 4th groove. Mainly 2x2, though, through about the top 10. And they'll be down to 3 wide, luckily, before they get into the corner. A little bit of contact back there. So they fall back a few more positions. Luckily, that was at the back of the pack, and luckily they were able to hang on. We stayed green, and they hung on for a little bit until Colby Howard got turned across the racetrack into the wall. Goes Chase Purdy pretty hard. Howard spins into the infield grass on the front stretch. Major damage to Purdy's truck on the right side, who had led laps in today's race, looked very fast. Was in the back after not taking off on the most recent restart. This one gets tangled up with Colby Howard, who also had spent a lot of the stage up at the front of the field after a pit strategy of going fuel only, gaining him over 10 positions on pit road. Purdy is climbing out of his race truck. Jeez Louise, I want to take that away from her, but then she's going to start barking. She's keeping herself occupied, I guess. Purdy is out of the race truck. Pretty hard hit. Entering the tri-oval. Pancaked the right side of his race truck. I think Colby Howard will be able to continue. Obviously, Purdy will not. Purdy was pushing the back of the 9 truck. The 9 got a bit sideways. The 4 got hit from behind, which sent him up into the outside wall. It actually looked like Purdy was in the middle. The 9 came down on top of him, not realizing he was there. And then the 4 went up the track. And obviously ended up taking Colby Howard with him. 99 likes. Appreciate that, guys. Guys and gals watching the stream. 1 like away from our goal of 100 today. So we are down to 8 laps to go at Talladega. Christian Eckes scored the race leader through the last timing and scoring loop as of that last caution. So Eckes will be the control truck on the next restart, trying to get a win to get into the championship 4. Had 1 win in the playoffs already back at Kansas, and now trying to get a win here today in the second round. Corey Heim's been quietly inside the top 10 all day. Has been leading laps, but he's been like 6th through 10th most of the day. Staying out of trouble. Remains in 6th. Parker Kligerman has moved up to 8th on this most recent restart, as he tries to get himself up there as well. I'd imagine it's probably more comical for you guys when that squeaky toy goes off. We don't have that problem when I stream NASCAR Thunder 04 because I'm usually in my bedroom when I'm streaming that, and the door's closed. Well, my sister's at work. There's nobody else to watch the dog, so she's got to be in here with me. Roxy Bollinger pulling for the Fords, it looks like. Baron Von Weebs, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hitting that like button as well. We are above 100 likes. Doesn't mean stop hitting that like button, though. Definitely continue to run that up if you guys haven't hit the like button yet today. And appreciate you guys staying forth. Listening to my commentary throughout the course of today's race. We will have another live commentary stream again tomorrow for the Cup race at Talladega. First Dega weekend we've been able to do live commentary on the channel, as I was at Talladega for the spring races earlier this year for both the ARCA, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. Trucks rather, still in the lead lap. Excuse me, sorry for that. A bit of a speech impediment going on there. Chase Purdy is again out of the race. He was on the lead lap, so that was the only truck that dropped off the lead lap at the time of the caution. Taylor Gray gets the free pass again. This time he will get back on the lead lap. So last 2 cautions, he goes from 2 laps down now to the lead lap. So we will have 26 trucks on the lead lap again for another restart as a result of Purdy getting his lap back, but he will be at the tail end of the field, obviously, when they get back to racing. Still not got the one-to-go signal. All these late cautions have allowed for these teams to save fuel. If we don't go past the scheduled distance, good chance a lot of these trucks will be able to make it on gas to the end of the race, as we will have 5 or less laps to go to decide the winner once we get back to green flag racing. Dorian Davis, thanks for tuning in also. Even though we're not in overtime, again, the same rules would apply. If we see a caution after the white flag is already displayed, then the next flag will end the race. So if the caution comes out in the last lap, then caution comes out in the last lap, then we will see the race end under the yellow, and whoever is in the lead at the time of the caution would end up being the winner. There was a couple drivers who had to go through the grass to miss that last incident. It didn't look like there was any severe damage to any of the splitters of those race trucks. She's got a bone now, so I think hopefully the squeakiness stops. I needed to take that away before the next restart. I don't want the audio, at least during crucial parts of the race, to be overplayed with squeakiness going on in the background. Oh, no, she's going back for it. She's going back for the tennis ball. She's huffing and puffing. She's got the zoomies going on right now. She took that hour-and-a-half nap for the first 3 quarters of the race. She's off the rails right now. Michigan, Nebraska coming up later. Yep. Hopefully we keep the good times rolling, and my Michigan Wolverines get the win. Gotta enjoy it. I can't watch the Packers play after the NASCAR race tomorrow because they already played Thursday. Well, it's kind of good, though, because I probably would miss it if it was a 1 o'clock game, considering the race starts at 2, and our live stream for tomorrow's race will begin at 1:30. So, again, for those of you watching right now, we'll be live at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon for the Cup Series race at Talladega as well. Just over 155 concurrent viewers watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. We're on the road to 5,000 subs, trying to get there for the end of this NASCAR season. We're a little less than 300 away, and also hit that like button as well. We've hit our goal of 100. We'll see how much higher we can get to the end of this race. Hyper Games, welcome to the stream as well. Here in the late going. Yeah, that's the dog's commentary as a squeaky toy. I think she tired herself out. I don't hear her anymore. A lot of speedy drag, getting blown off the front stretch right now. As that is going on, NASCAR has put us under a red flag, so we won't be wiping away too many more laps of this race under caution. So the Air Titans are in the tri-oval right now, blowing the speedy dry down the racetrack. This will be a very quick temporary hold as the field sits towards the entry of turn 3. Hopefully they can get the 1-to-go signal this time by, and then we get a restart with 4 laps left in the race. So a little bit more to be cleaned up than what they originally expected, as we ran a few laps under caution before the red flag. The caution initially came out with 10 laps to go. Cheesy heads all the way to the Super Bowl? No chance. Couldn't do it with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think we're doing it with Jordan Love. Not this year, at least. I mean, Love has shown some potential. I'd say he probably played his worst game this season on Thursday night. But the Packers' defense was absolutely terrible and couldn't stop Detroit anyway. So even if Jordan Love was, on his very best game, the Lions just played tough ball on offense, and defense couldn't make any stops. And we had that interception very early, and that was pretty much about it. Had a couple stops in the third quarter on back-to-back drives, which kind of got Green Bay into it, but they were just down by too many points at that point. Scored back-to-back touchdowns. Once they missed that second 2-point conversion, they were still down by 2 scores. And Detroit had that long, 8-minute drive where they scored another touchdown. That really took the sail out of the team there. Still under red flag conditions. Silent Owl Scribe, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, that Michigan-Nebraska game actually starts the kickoffs in about 15 minutes or so. So right at the end of this, get to watch the whole thing today. Definitely going to be door dashing me some Buffalo Wild Wings here in about another hour or so. I ate a little bit earlier. I usually try to eat before the live commentary streams because I know I'm going to have a block of about 4 hours for the truck and Xfinity races because they're shorter. But the Cup races, with going live a half hour to 45 minutes before the race and staying live for about another 15, 20 minutes after, right? It's usually right around 4 hours almost consistently for those streams. Those 2 short road course races that only had 1 caution at Indy and Watkins Glen, I think those streams were less than 3 hours. Like the actual stream going live half hour to 45 minutes before the race, and then the race itself being less than 2 hours, I think, for I think it was just over 2 hours for Indy, and Watkins Glen, it was like an hour and 57 minutes or somewhere around there. Our stream was like roughly 2.5 to 2 hours 45 minutes both weeks. That was crazy how quick those were. But yeah, that won't happen probably the rest of the year. I mean, it was nice as far as like it opened up the rest of my day, but it kind of stunk too because the stream was nowhere near as long. It was like an hour and a half shorter, so there wasn't as many views on it at the same time because the race was over a lot sooner. If you're wondering why they are under red flag conditions, still cleaning up some fluid after a two-car crash on the front stretch. The fluid was laid down from Chase Purdy after hitting the outside wall pretty hard. Colby Howard also collected in that incident, and NASCAR did not want too many laps to get taken away under caution here. So I think if I had to guess, under red, they get it cleaned up. They'll probably get the 1-to-go signal and then followed by the green flag right away. So we should have about 4 laps of racing left. If that doesn't happen, I don't know why we're under red then. But it does allow for these teams to save a little bit more fuel with having the trucks just completely shut off. I guess it's not really saving fuel because the trucks are shut off, but they're not moving either. So we're still stuck at 6 to go. Should be good to the end if we don't see overtime, but if we see 1 or 2 overtime finishes, it's going to be very, very close on fuel for a lot of these drivers. There might be some that pitted under most recent cautions with less than 20 to go. We've had a couple of them. This being obviously the most recent that we're under right now. Got an interview, it looks like, with Grant Enfinger's crew chief.
It's been a very eventful day for you guys. What have you been telling your driver about staying in it and still having a shot to get back above the cut line?
I mean, we're just trying to do the best we can with our champion equipment Chevrolet here. It's just every time we look like we're getting in a spot where we can, make a little bit of hay, we get hung out. Then we got in a wreck there, got some damage, and I mean, it's Talladega. Anything can happen here, but the guys have done an excellent job over the wall trying to get the thing patched up. They closed up the grill work when we hit. We're running hot, so we got that open back up. Did a little redneck engineering on that to get it back open, and just trying to keep the fitters off the tires and see what happens. I mean, we're back to 16th, but it's not the day we wanted, but we haven't given up yet. It's still 5 laps to go, so we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Jeff.
At least 5 laps to go.
Jeff Hensley said it there. I mean, the work that
we are back under caution flag conditions now. The field heading to the tri-oval, coming up on 5 laps to go in this race. Enfinger rallied to 16th. Quite a bit of damage to the left front fender of that race truck still. Got some safety equipment on the track. No one to go signal that time by, so now we're down to 3 or less laps to go for the next restart. That saves at least another lap of fuel for these teams on the racetrack. Hopefully they get those safety trucks on the pit road for the next time by. So we did not get the 1 to go signal right away there. So again, the top 10 for this upcoming restart, you've got Christian Eckes, Chandler Smith, who will more than likely be on the front row, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes right behind him, Dean Thompson, Corey Heim, followed by Daniel Dye, Parker Kligerman, then Matt Crafton and Tanner Gray. Who, despite falling quite a ways back, has made his way back forward, that being Gray in the 15. It's actually the leader when we started Stage 3. After staying out of the pits completely at that point in time. No wonder she was so quiet. She put a hole in the nose of this stuffed animal dog. She was taking the stuffing out of it. I was wondering why she was so quiet. As she just looks confused, she's like, now what do I do? All right, back in the trial again. We'll see if they get the 1 to go signal this time. 4 to go this time by. Eckes Rhodes, the only playoff drivers in the top 10 for the restart. Again, a win will lock them into the championship 4, and none would be as clutch than winning on a super speedway. No playoff driver has ever won at Talladega in the Truck Series. And we have had the Truck Series playoff since 2017. And we have yet to see any of them win. Eckes has elected the inside lane for row 1. The last 2 restarts, the inside lane has not taken off well. We'll see if Eckes can get a good push from behind. He'll have Chandler Smith right on his back bumper. Ben Rhodes on the outside lane behind Brett Moffitt. Kligerman outside of row 4 has been fast all day. Craftsman's followed him for most of this final stage. I would not be shocked if those two try to go up to 3 wide right away, as we've seen quite a few drivers do throughout the course of this race. Haven't seen it as much the last couple restarts with drivers going 3 wide immediately as they were entering turn 1, but we'll see if they start to fan out very quickly once again. We make it back without another caution the rest of the way. We have had 7 yellow flags so far in the race. Not a lot by Talladega standards. The majority of them, though, in this final stage. 5 cautions in stage 3 today. The stage was 54 laps, so really 5 cautions in about the last 50 laps, average of caution every 10 laps. So I guess that part of it, yeah, it has been a slow race pace in the final stage today, but first 2 stages clicked by pretty seamlessly from a race pace standard, still averaging a 114.36 mile per hour speed. We'll raise up a little bit quicker if we stay green for these final 3 laps. I know, I hope we do so. It seems like most of you guys thinking the same thing. Hopefully we have a wild, fun, clean finish to the end of this one. Got about 170 people watching. Once again, like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. And buckle up because we're headed to the finish. Pace truck is on pit road. Eckes will be the control truck. He'll be on the inside lane. Moffitt on the outside of row 1. Through the restart zone, green flag, back in the air. Big pushes in both lanes. Moffitt maybe grabbing a gear a bit quicker than Eckes. Has a good launch going into the first turn, bumper to bumper at the front of the field for the race lead. Remember, there's 3 to go, not quite in overtime yet. Hopefully we don't have to see that. Down the backstretch, still 2x2. Nobody forming out to a third lane to this moment. Big gap being built up between the second and third trucks in both the top and the bottom lane. On the outside, closing in as well as on the bottom, but not big enough of a run to try to make a move and pull out 3 wide yet. They'll still stay door to door most of the way through the field. Eckes has actually pulled clear for the lead off of turn 4 right now. Moffitt with another head of steam. Craftsman goes down the racetrack, clips another race truck, and we've got the big one happening right now in the tri-oval. And this will set up an overtime restart. That took out a lot of race trucks. Matt Craftsman went sideways after contact. Heavy damage to Grant Enfinger and Carson Hocevar's race trucks. 2 playoff drivers involved in the incident, at least, maybe more. Hard to tell who was all involved in that and who made it through. Craftsman all the way near his pit box, where he ended up stalling out. Window net is down. Craftsman's day is definitely done as he got the brunt of the damage from that incident. Quite a few trucks torn up.
Is that Corey Roper?
Yes, it is. 0-4 truck. Couldn't quite do it. Couldn't quite get to the end. And Sanchez tried to go to the middle, very much like the incident we just saw prior to this one. He and Matt Craftsman made contact, and that's what started this.
You know, our job is to report as experienced racers what we see causes wrecks, and this is just a situation where it's a chain reaction. One guy thinks he's going to get in a hole, and another guy doesn't think they're through, and things go all to pieces.
You know, whether you hang that on Matt Crafton or if you hang it on Sanchez, certainly
Just battling for space.
a little bit of space.
Brett Holmes is up great. Brett's had a great run here.
Look at all these trucks.
Hard
Well
contact.
to 15 with contact.
Yeah, Greg Van Alst. Hard contact. See if he just stays to the inside, maybe thinking about going through the middle. Not even sure he was going to commit to the middle.
If I'm Matt Crafton, I said, well, he just hooked me. You know, he turned me. But if I'm Sanchez, I'm like, well, I was trying to get in the middle and there was room.
Oh, huge hit from Greg Van Alst. Head on.
Crazy.
Van Alst, big Arc of Menards winner at Daytona. He's good at these places. New to the Truck Series and a huge hit for him. Brett Holmes hoping for redemption. Finished third here last year. His home track.
I think Raja emerged pretty unscathed there. Good to see Matt get out of that truck.
Did he stop?
By Sanchez?
Is that the 2 pit box?
I don't know.
Sanchez? It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
I believe he was telling them. I told you my opinion of what Matt would think. I think he just explained to him, to them, his opinion.
So a lot of cleanup here. We will go into NASCAR overtime. It's the 15 of Tanner Gray.
Tanner led 12 laps in this race. Really did a nice job. Look at Majeski.
Oh,
More damage. He needs equal that amount of Barabond on the left front now.
Fourth through 7th in the playoff points, separated by just 8 points. Yeah, that shows you how important every lap is going to be here to try to get to the checkered flag. This is scary, the impact for Brandon Van Alst.
All 4 tires come off the ground.
Carson Hocevar is a part of this mix. See what he sees. He sees a mess.
He was so quick. He had a little bit of contact. Goes through the grass. I'm not sure he had a lot of contact. You see him sitting over there on with the rest of the trucks while they do the big cleanup on the front stretch.
he was able to back it down without any damage. Cleanup crews have been busy today at Talladega. So Christian Neckes, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, Corey Heim, Dean Thompson, they're all unscathed. This happened just behind them.
This will be the 5th time in the last 7 years that we have had overtime here at Talladega.
Remember when Carson said he didn't think he did a lot with his feet, and I told him he did? Let's see what he did in this case. Break. Clutch.
Try to keep it running.
Well, when he watches this back, he might surprise himself. It's pretty busy in there.
He might sign up for Dancing with the Stars.
Michael, I believe there are pictures of you on Dancing with the Stars floating around right now.
Probably. It's not. It was a lot of fun. Let's go with that.
Well, as we continue under red, let's go back to the studio and check in with Caitlin Mincy, Todd Bodine, and Larry Mack. Hey, Caitlin.
Hey, Jamie, thank you. And for those of you looking for the Baylor at UCF college football game, you can find it on the Fox Sports app right now. And at the end of the truck race, that game will be here on FS1. So, in typical Talladega fashion, guys, lots of cautions here at the end. No big surprise there. This is the big one, though. We've been waiting for this to unfold. What did you see from this incident?
Well, I'm going to call this a racing incident for real. I think
you know, when Nick moved down, he wasn't trying to go 3 wide. I think the line had moved up. He kind of moved down a little bit. The draft caught him, moved him forward. The draft moved back, and they got together. I don't think that was anything intentional. I don't think Nick tried to go 3 wide. It's just a racing deal.
But remember what I said a little over 3 hours ago. All it takes is one driver to make a move and go the wrong way, and next thing you know, you see what we have right here. 8 to 10 drivers involved. Now go back to what Jamie Little said, and this was before this. Well, I think we had about 20 trucks involved in an accident, 20 of the 36 that started. I think that number has escalated. We're well over 2/3 of the field that's been involved now in an accident, including Grant Enfinger, one of the playoff drivers. You know, we came in today with that playoff cut line separated by a whole lot. I know we still have over 5 miles of racing to go, but it's going to close up. This is right with Carson Hocevar, who's right near the front a lot, one of our playoff drivers. And I love the shot. His feet has been very busy inside that truck.
No doubt about
The scariest moment for me in this whole wreck was the impact that Greg Van Oss took. That hurts. When you hit something that hard and stop that suddenly, that's the kind that hurts you and pulls back in his seatbelts. I mean, all 4 tires of the truck came off the ground. The impact was tremendous. Hopefully he's all right. I'm sure he is. And no ambulance is out. So, man, that one hurt. I kept saying, "Ow, man, that hurts." You know, you just feel for him because of how bad it was.
So what is this like for drivers, especially the guys who are in the playoff hunt right now, and you're getting to the tail end of the race, you keep having these cautions and moments you have to stop down. What is that like for them?
Well, if you're the guys in the back, this is what you're worried about. You know, somebody up in front of you makes a mistake, like you said, Larry. 10 trucks get involved, and you're in the middle of it. That's why my philosophy was, and you know, it's not easy to do, but go up and be in the top 4. Stay up there. It's less chance to get in a wreck until you get to that white flag. Then it's the game on. But those guys in the back, this is what you worry about.
And I think we've been trying to keep up with who's been involved in a wreck and who's in trouble right now. But I think one thing we need to remember is the driver that's leading this race right now, Christian Eckes in that 19 truck. No driver has ever had a better average finish through the first 4 races of the playoff, an average finish of 2nd, and here he is leading this thing. Again, we've got an overtime finish. We still have over 5 miles of racing, but looking pretty good right now. I think he's in the safest spot being at the front of the pack.
All right, well, we're going to see how the rest of this race unfolds. The red has been lifted. We're going to go back to the voices in booth and say hello to Jamie Little once again.
Thank you, Caitlin, and I think Larry Mack was spot on that Christian Eckes is in the best spot you can be at this moment. Trucks are rolling. How is this one going to finish? You never know.
So much good experience around Christian Eckes right now, too, with Brett Moffitt and Ben Rhodes. Chandler Smith now full-time Xfinity driver in the playoffs. So a lot of experience around Christian Eckes right now. So that has to make him feel a little bit more comfortable.
It's cool to see Dean Thompson, Daniel Dye, a couple of guys slip through that crash and be in a position to get career best finishes.
Pits are open right now, so we'll have some takers. But how about Nick Sanchez, 9th right now? He had that penalty earlier for laying back on the restart, came back from that, was just involved in this incident, got into the 88 Matt Crafton, but he's hanging on. Truck seems to be good enough. He's 9th.
Jimmy Hicks, our stats guru, said that we've had 26 trucks involved in accidents now of the 36 starters.
Hey, we got 2 more laps to go. A lot of pushing and shoving in these last 2 laps. Hocevar. Besides, he needed some tires.
Well, he spun, you know, we were riding along with him when he spun. There wasn't a very fast spin at the tail end of it, but
still lost all his track position.
Yeah, my foot on my tires on, yeah.
Oh, they had a flat spot. See that crew member on the right-hand screen?
Good call. Good call there. Beating out the left front pedal a little bit. Yeah, the right side looks really, really good. The left side has some damage.
Nick Sanchez's crew chief is Danny Stockman. He's with Josh.
And Danny, First of all, what did you tell your driver after that last caution, and what is it going to take for you guys to close this thing out?
Well, at the end of the day, we want to get the best finish we can, but if you look at the points right now, it's really, really tight. So we gotta be smart, but we gotta be aggressive. We gotta get the best finish we can, and that was a little bit of a mistake between a couple drivers, and we got a green-white checkered here, so it's probably gonna continue to get wild. But it's been a good. We've had a lot of speed today. We made a mistake on a restart, which set us back, and we've had to claw away from the back on a pass-through penalty. But the Gainbridge Chevrolet's been really fast, and the driver and the spotter's been working amazing together. So we'll just see where we can end up here.
Thanks, Andy.
And you talked about how tight those points are as they run right now. The 2 is 4 points above that cut line. Doesn't want to lose a spot on the racetrack at this point, heading into his home racetrack.
Look at all these trucks involved in that wreck on lap 91. Started when Craftsman Sanchez made contact and broke up quite a few trucks.
Get down towards the end of the race, and fairly soon after the restart, everybody is running together. Occasionally we get lucky and we have a single truck incident or maybe a couple trucks, but unfortunately not on this one.
4 of those drivers are playoff drivers. Just been a day that Grant Enfinger wants to forget. Ty Majeski with a lot of damage now, just wants to be able to finish this one out. Just a reminder, 1 race to go in the round of 8. 2 weeks from now, we will race at Homestead Miami Speedway. We will see who will race for the championship.
This is what you call persistence. We're going to do whatever we got to do to get to the checkered flag. Grant Enfinger had a lot of damage to the left front. Now he's got damage to both sides of the front.
A lot of these drivers up front here, last pit on lap number 60. I know we've had a jillion caution laps, but
34
is a little bit outside the normal pit window here. But I think with all the caution laps, we're good for at least this overtime finish. If we go too many more overtimes, I'm not sure.
I just mentioned it, we're going to the beach.
Heck yeah.
Homestead Miami Speedway coming up in 2 weeks. This will decide who will race for the championship at Phoenix, Arizona.
We're going to get that pickup truck. You and Michael and ride down to Miami, aren't we?
We're going to take that trophy with us.
Yes, we are.
Give it away. We know that Corey Heim is one of the 4 that will be contending for the title.
What a fun racetrack. Look at those trucks coming off turn 4. All of them right out against that outside wall.
Love that racetrack.
So much action there.
Hope you join us for that one. Corey Heim's probably looking around right now going, thank goodness. Don't have to worry about this. No matter what happens right now, the outcome is the same. We are going to the championship.
That hadn't motivated him to back off a
No.
bit, has it though? He's been right up in the middle of the mix all day long. I love that about the effort today. Could have easily rode around and said, well, we're going to see how these wrecks play out, but no, he's been right up front.
Speaking of Rex, the wrecker pushing Ty Majeski.
Yeah, I saw him limp off pit road. I thought he was just waiting for the field to go by, but never was able to continue.
The truck, did it refire there or no?
I don't think so. Safety crews all heading back to their headquarters, and Majeski's truck's just not going to make it.
Not going to come to life here, is it?
Let's get an update on Nick Sanchez. Josh.
Well, yeah, a near flawless day for Nick Sanchez, but his crew chief Derek Nealon telling him during that last caution might have been a mistake on the part of the 2 there.
I love you. I do. But we're going to be a little bit smarter, okay? My bad. For the truck. My bad. No, I get it. I know what you're trying to do. Just remember, there's still 2 races left after this one. Before we make it, we can't be having. You're right. My bad.
Big picture there.
He just tried to squeeze into a hole, like I said earlier, that wasn't there. He was going to go 3 wide up the middle and just didn't have enough room to do so. And just saw an opportunity. Matt Craftsman was a little bit wider than I think Nick felt like he should be, and he tried to stick it in a hole that just didn't work out. I agree with the spotter. kneeling, and I appreciate Nick's attitude toward it. You know, you just learn every day, and you got to get better.
Good counsel for Derek Nealon, just somebody, one of our spotters that's been around the longest time, knows what he's doing. He's a great spotter. He's a race car driver as well, and it's good advice there. Just gotta be smarter. Can't make those decisions and those moves here that has a marginal propensity of return.
Obviously, he's a quick learner. Nick Sanchez, he's gotten himself this far. He has a chance at making it to the championship round, but he's made it to the round of 8. And knowing Nick, he'll probably want to talk to Matt Crafton. Hey, sorry, what can I do better? Or, you know, let's just work it out. I don't want to have an enemy out here. That's not good.
Yeah, we know there's no malicious intent on what Nick did. He was, as Mike said, he was just trying to get in the hole, thought about getting in the hole, and then it closed up. Unfortunately, his AR had his nose in there.
I said that's not good about Ty Majeski. Obviously, his day is done. Going back to the garage here. As the drivers are choosing now.
The Fords went to the bottom and the Chevys to the top.
And a couple of Toyotas behind in each row. Dean Thompson on the inside, Corey Hammond on the outside.
We're getting thinned out here, Phil.
And here come all the
travelers.
All torn up.
Well, it's worked for Christian Eckes all day, so why not stick with it, right?
See the 6th truck on the bottom there. Haley Deegan just outside the top 10. She's had a clean day. See what happened on these last couple of laps. See if she can get a top 10 finish. Opportunity 250 today.
Yeah.
Who was able to take advantage? I felt like it would be a playoff contender.
Grant Enfinger now is off the racetrack.
We're coming green, Phil.
Yeah, as well as Majeski obviously being towed in. There's Haley Deegan. That truck looks fairly clean. A little tire mark there at 11 quarter panel.
And a quiet day for Haley Deegan.
Here at Smithley in that 02. Still in there battling. There's Lawless Allen right around the top 10, all these trucks.
Remember, Haley finished 6th here in this race last year.
Brett Moffitt. What a day. First start this year. Crew chief Seth Barber, longtime Cup crew chief. He's a 12-time winner in the series. He's a champion. Now here he has a chance to win at Talladega. Around the 19 of Christian Eckes. He has been the truck to beat in the playoffs.
Christian Eckes has never been a bigger fan of Chandler Smith. He said they've raced together forever right now.
Friends forever.
Christian needs Chandler to do everything perfectly on this restart.
They told Ben Rhodes.
On the front row, Christian Eckes elects the outside lane, and we have on the bottom Brett Moffitt once again on the front row as well. Ben Rhodes to push Moffitt, and Chandler Smith to push Christian Eckes. Green flag is in the air. First attempt at an overtime restart at Talladega is underway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Double wide going into the first turn. Eckes hanging in strong, trying to side draft the right rear corner panel now. The truck's underneath him. Trying to stay alongside the 34 as they work their way off turn 2. Moffitt is clear for the race lead now. Back straightaway, the 99 gets a bit squirrely, disorganizes the bottom lane with about 3 or 4 trucks. And on the outside, Christian Eckes getting pushed again by the 25 truck into turn 3, side by side for the lead. More separation being had between Moffitt and Rhodes in the bottom lane. Big gap back to the 4th and 5th place trucks. Parker, Kligerman, the 3rd truck in the outside groove getting pushed towards the front of the field by Corey Hyman, the 11. Moving to the bottom lane as Eckes says he'll lead this lap of the line. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Eckes leads. 25 truck of Chandler Smith going to drop back. He's not going to push him anymore. Big block being made in the battle for 3rd place. And all the way to the top now to throw a block is Eckes. He gets pushed from behind and out of the way. Into the 3rd lane goes Eckes. He's going to get hung out to dry. Kligerman is now going to push Brett Moffitt back to the race lead as they enter down the back straightaway. Eckes is falling all the way outside the top 20 and losing valuable playoff points. Into turn 3, Kligerman just gets to the inside lane. The 25 of Chandler Smith to push Kligerman out of the way. He doesn't stay with him. Kligerman's on the outside but no momentum. Tries to side draft the 25 of Chandler Smith. Here comes Corey Heim to the third lane. A second win by Chandler Smith to the outside. The 99 to push the 34. Nobody's going to get past Moffitt, and Brett Moffitt is going to win at Talladega. In an overtime restart, we finish under green. Moffitt gets his first truck win of the season. His first win in any series of the season, for that matter. Ben Rhodes will finish in second, right on his back bumper, pushed him to the win. Dean Thompson finishes third. Chandler Smith fourth, and Corey Heim going to round out the top 5. Sixth place, Daniel Dye. Nick Sanchez finishes 7th. Haley Deegan 8th. Parker Kligerman fell back to 9th, and Wallace Allen rounds out the top 10. Carson Hocevar ends up 11th. Raja Karut 12th. Grant Enfinger 13th. Jack Wood 14th. Garrett Smithley finishes 15th. Brett Holmes in 16th. Ryan Vargas 17th. Taylor Gray 18th. 19th was Christian Eckes. And Jake Drew can round out the top 20. All 19 trucks have finished on the lead lap, finished within 9/10 of a second of each other. From race winner back to the 19th place position where Eckes ended up finishing. 21st place finish for Ty Majeski, Corey Roper 22nd, Colby Howard 23rd, Matt Crafton 24th, Tanner Gray 25th, Greg Van Alst 26th, Jason M. White 27th, Chase Purdy 28th, Jake Garcia 29th, and Tyler Hill finishes 30th. 31st for Bailey Curry, Zane Smith 32nd. 33rd place finish for Tyler Ankrum. Stuart Friesen ends up 34th, David Gillen 35th, and Brian Dozit rounds out the 36 truck field today. 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 4 seconds total time in the race. We went 5 laps past the scheduled distance, finishing with 99 out of the scheduled 94 laps. 111.61 miles per hour was the average race speed. Brett Moffitt gets the win. He led 22 laps today, 5 different times. He had taken the lead more times than anybody else throughout the course of this race. And here is your race winner, Brett Moffitt, on the front stretch at Talladega.
Position between he and his spotter. We either need to win or be second. And that's the only options we have. Ben said, I got you. And he brought it home second.
I love you, Brett.
Brett's a good dude.
First win at Talladega. Last win was back in 2020. He's been running in the Xfinity Series. Got the call. And you guys, we said at the start of the show, this could be an audition for him. We don't know who is replacing Zane Smith next year with this team. I think he had a good showing.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Regan Smith, the winner, has joined you on the start-finish line.
Well, it's been 3 years since your last Truck Series win. Brett, this was a one-off deal. You're an Xfinity regular. How does this one feel?
Man, it's pretty awesome. I've notably struggled at the super speedways in the past and dreaded coming to them, but this was all pressure off situation. The front row gave me great options to come here and just go out there and try to help a teammate. Obviously, that didn't work out for that group, but I mean, to come here and have a shot at a win and to do it is pretty amazing. Just reminds me of the good old days, and I want to get back to doing this on a regular basis, so we'll see what happens.
Brett Moffitt, your Truck Series winner at Talladega.
Some great driving from that young man.
Great job by Moffitt. Margin of victory was 89 1/1000ths of a second, so just under 900ths of a second was the margin of victory for Moffitt over Rhodes. We had 11 different drivers lead at least one lap in the race today, 24 lead changes amongst those 11 drivers as well. As we take a look at the point standings post-Dega with 1 race to go until the Championship 4, with 1 race left taking place at Homestead in the round of 8. Corey Heim, the only driver who has advanced, obviously, into the Championship 4, as no playoff driver won today. Carson Hocevar is the highest in the point standings of those without a win. He's 23 points to the good, even with getting into that last big one in the closing laps. Christian Eckes is 9 points to the good above the cutoff line. And the final driver above the cutoff line is Nick Sanchez at plus 3 points. Grant Enfinger is minus 3 points, 5th in the standings heading into Homestead in 3 weeks. Ben Rhodes minus 5 points. Ty Majeski minus 19 points. All still have a legitimate shot of pointing their way in through Homestead. But Zane Smith is in a must-win situation more than likely, as he is 36 points below the cutoff line headed into Homestead in a couple of weeks. That is going to end today's live stream. Be sure to tune in for tomorrow's live commentary stream at 1:30 Eastern Time. This one probably won't be barking at the end of the race next time. I promise you that. As far, though, as tomorrow, again, 1:30 with our pre-race coverage, live commentary, flag to flag for the 500-mile Cup race at Dega will be shortly thereafter. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys back and better than ever again tomorrow afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to hit our goal of 100 likes on today's race, and hopefully I see you back again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and I'll see you for some Cup racing at Talladega tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.